Guess it been 400 years. See the blood when the boy from the tears. Ain't that we gon' rock? Ain't no more. The fear, get ready for the war when it's here. We headed for the top. No sucker, no snakes on me. And it ain't no fake on me. We never gon' stop cause the clock gon' take from me. You can never put a break on me. They must forgot. Guess it been 400 years. See the blood when the boy from the tears. Ain't that we gon' rock? Ain't no more. The fear, get ready for the war when it's here. We headed for the top. No sucker, no snakes on me. And it ain't no fake on me. We never gon' stop cause the clock gon' take from me. You can never put a break on me. They must forgot. Guess it been 400 years. See the blood when the boy from the tears. Ain't that we gon' rock? Ain't no more. The fear, get ready for the war when it's here. We headed for the top. No sucker, no snakes on me. And it ain't no fake on me. We never gon' stop cause the clock gon' take from me. You can never put a break on me. I can tell you about the land that I guarantee you be done in an hour. We don't need no more elections. We need an old-fashioned media shower. Prowling earth like a lion. He high in the dark and he seeking devour. All praise to the Most High. Allah high in my strength and my power. Ain't you tired of these cowards? We're full of people corrupted with power. They even shaking their heads over gun. Am I the only one that's taking it sour? Hot in the truth is spread under your snout, so they go in the war like 3 different houses. Fussing invasion is imminent. You can tuck all of your sentiments right up your trousers. It gon' be some thick darkness. People gon' lock up inside of their houses. Who's all a bumbling folk? You was so sure that they think she was one of the proudest. That was looking pre-diluvian, one of the greatest and one of the foulest. Jumping, creeping up on you like one of them roaches inside of your houses. They gon' try to hit the bunker, but ain't no security under a mountain. They gon' try to hit the button, but we know that none of it function with power. And we leaving with abundance, nobody among us is gonna be doubting. Tell me, so what do you got? We be on pump for the clock. Don't tell me they must have forgot. They must have forgot. Guess it been 400 years. See the blood when the boy from the tears. Ain't now we gon' rock. Ain't no more of the fear. Get ready for the war when it's here. We headed for the top. No sucker, no snakes on me. And it ain't no fake on me. We never gon' stop cause the clock gon' take from me. You can never put a break on me. They must have forgot. Guess it been 400 years. See the blood when the boy from the tears. Ain't now we gon' rock. Ain't no more of the fear. Get ready for the war when it's here. We headed for the top. No sucker, no snakes on me. And it ain't no fake on me. We never gon' stop cause the clock gon' take from me. You can never put a break on me.
All praises to the Most High, the great Elohim of Israel. Shalom and blessings to all of my brothers and sisters, my kinsmen according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertain the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of Elohim and the promises, whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, our Mashiach came, who is over all Elohim, blessed forever. All praise to the Most High. And in case you're wondering, we're coming from Romans chapter 9, verse 1 through 5. I want to welcome you to this fellowship. We're going to be dealing with, are black people too sensitive? And we're going to be critiquing a video of a comedian by the name of David Lucas. It's probably about 2 weeks old. I intended to do this sooner, but we know how life happens. Things come up. We're going to talk about it today. Got the brother T.I.R with us, the bulldog, the guard dog of the scriptures. What's going on, brother T.I.R?
Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praise to the Most High for everything done for us, sending us the Messiah to die for our sins and giving thanks and praises. and to all y'all in the chat, the brother, to the Levite brother right here, Brother Hurt. I'm ready to get it in. Let's see what these guys have to say about his own people.
Indeed. Thank you for being on, bro. And we all know about Resurrecting the Truth. Subscribe to that if you haven't already. Also, support the new work that we're putting out dealing with the 400-year prophecy. Part 1 is up on the channel, on the Resurrecting the Truth channel, as well as this channel. But you know what, Brother Kadar? I think part 2, I'm going to just stream it directly to Resurrecting the Truth channel, because that brings me to this topic here about the algorithm on this particular channel. Due to me making changes to the platform, I had to deal with some things in the background. So that may have affected the algorithm, so to speak. So those who are listening in, make sure you subscribe, you hit the notification bell, and all of that good stuff moving forward. But yeah, I think I'm going to stream part 2 directly to Resurrecting the Truth channel. What you think about that?
Sounds good, man. It seems like everything we do, somebody always trying to block it or do something. There's something going on within this platform all over, because even within, when I look at mine, you see numbers go up and go down all day. Now, I really don't think people sit around and say, I'm going to unsubscribe. Man, I subscribe to people that I don't even watch no more. But guess what? I'm still subscribed to them. I don't even have a mindset to really go in and do all that. So, yes, I believe there's some stuff going on in the backstage that are messing with these channels, especially the channels that are speaking the truth.
Yeah. And I'm starting to see that as a good thing. You know, I don't, after knowing what we know, it's probably not good to get too big. You know what I mean? So those who have ears to hear and eyes to see, that's who we want to fellowship with. And like I say, if you haven't already, do all of that good stuff to support the channel and chime in. Got Brother Yanakota. What's going on, bro? Man, that was a solid read. I was able to catch it last night. That Leviticus. They breaking down all of Leviticus. I think they was reading through chapter 16 to 20 last night. And so real solid read, man. Thank you for chiming in. Glad to have you. I'm gonna definitely put that link out there. Got my love in the chat. Shalom and blessings from my love, Shibriya. Always a blessing to see you, my love. But we're gonna be talking about, are Black people too sensitive? And in dealing with this issue, I don't know if many people have seen what was said, the statement that was said. I call it a statement. I don't call it a joke. And for those who haven't seen it, we're going to take a look at that under fair use. But I also have some highlighted scriptures that I want to get into, and we'll bring those out after we take a look at the incident at hand, the statement that was said. But I don't know if you had a chance to take a listen or to catch it, Brother Kadar. If you did, you got any thoughts on that?
No, I haven't had a chance to look at it. So I'm looking forward to see it right now.
Okay. Before we get into too much commentary or anything, let's just go ahead, put this under fair use. And we're going to take a look at the statement that was made from David Lucas concerning George Floyd. This raised a big uproar, to say the least, and you're going to find out why. Fair use.
And you wanted to show them the reason George Floyd got his neck nailed off. Don't ooh at that joke. It's just a joke, man. I would have never kneeled on George Floyd's neck. I would have shot that nigga. That was making us look. It's called comedy, nigga. How many more black fans I gotta hear that might leave? Oh, and I got. Cause nigga, I was just warming up with that George Floyd. You ready to go? All right, baby. Okay. All right, you offended too, baby, with the braids? All right. You offended too? God, man, stop. Y'all good? Or y'all about to? Oh, I'm...
Yeah, we come here all the time. We get ass work out.
I like Kyle Rittenhouse too. I like Kyle Rittenhouse too. You too, bro? God, bro? Oh, but you a little bit, right? See that? Yeah. Yeah, one more guy. Man, that nigga don't even want to go, but his ride leaving. He don't even want to go. He like, man, I don't like George Floyd either, man. That nigga.
All right, so that was the statement that was made about George Floyd. And just to be brief, when I first heard it, I can't really explain what my thoughts were. You know, I didn't have a feeling of enraged, like I wanted to do something, but I did feel a sense of disrespect. You know, I did feel a sense of anger when I heard it, because to me, this is a sign of how everybody feel like they can treat us at any point in time, and we just have to go along with it. But what you think, Brother Kadar?
Man, I'll smack that dude. If that was me and he gave out that fish pound, I'd have pulled him off that stage. That's crazy. How can he sit there and all them white people sitting there just to laugh? And I would say something to them too. Sad, man. And that lets you know how much they care about us. Sad.
So you would have faked like you was giving him a fist pound and pulled him off the stage?
Pulled him out the stage and moved out the way. So I can imagine see how that fall would have been. Look how he looked on that stage.
Yeah. But you know what? I think what's even more peculiar and interesting, I won't even say peculiar. I'll just say what's even more interesting about this is the comment section. All right. Can y'all see that somewhat? Shalom, Sister Linya in the chat. I see you. Good to see you in the chat. It's been a while since I seen you. She say she on a plantation. Man, don't we all know about that? Good to see you, sis. Let's look at this comment section. All right. Because what I see when I see that is I see a representative. I see a voice, right? When you see people like that get up on stage and will just make remarks like that, I see a voice or a representative of something else, maybe of somebody who wish they could say those things in the open, or want to really say those things, but understand the backlash and the repercussion of it. So that's just my view on it. And that's going to be made plain later once we get into the actual critique of the interview that he did. But look at this. This is why I say when I see stuff like that from my own people, this is a representation of something else. All right, this is a comment that says they are crying over George Floyd like he was a black saint. All right. So this person in the comment section, after that remark was made, posted this comment. They are crying over George Floyd like he was a black saint. Now, I didn't see anybody crying over George Floyd within that instance. I just saw people who were offended by what they heard, right? And decided to get up and leave as a result of it, right? Nothing outrageous, nothing, to draw a lot of attention to. It's just, okay, you did something or said something that offended me within this establishment, so I'm going to get up and leave. They didn't try to fight the man or throw lettuce and tomatoes up on the stage and all that kind of stuff. They just heard what they heard and said, you know what, that's messed up. You going out of your way just to be funny. We're going to get up and leave because we ain't feeling that. What you think, Brother Kadar?
Yeah, I think they handled it well. Now, I'm being honest, I probably would have handled it much different. I probably would have said some joke to him, probably say, I wonder how long you'd have lasted, probably 2 minutes instead of 8 minutes with me on your neck, fat as you. I probably said something like that. But they handled it really good well. I mean, it's been instances, I'm pretty sure, that people said something like that on stage. Somebody probably got shot and killed. This guy's crazy. He shouldn't be doing that. And he's standing up there. You got your little white people just laughing along. Sad, man. That's how evil these people are. And we got one of our own standing up there. Well, then again, I don't know who he is. He could be a Hamite. I don't know. But standing up there talking about another black man's death like it's, okay. Or won't you stand up there and talk about a white man that got killed like that? I mean, what about that? If you have any idea. Won't you say that? Let's see if the white people laugh at that. Let's see how long you keep your job. If you stand up there and you talk about the ish people on stage like that, I bet you won't keep your job. This guy right here, somebody need to really tell him something. I would love to have an interview with him. Love to.
Yeah. At the same time, too, I think people like him are like test dummies, to test the temperature to see how we going to respond. Because look at all that's been done over the ages to try to desensitize us to our condition. When you talk about slavery and the things that happened during slavery, what's the response you get oftentimes? People get irritated with that. They say you bringing up the past. You need to let that go. We moving forward. And all this stuff is a means to desensitize you. They tell you at the same time that if you don't know where you come from, you don't know where you're going. What does the Bible tell us? It says, my people suffer for a lack of knowledge, right? So those two principles go hand in hand. We're suffering as a people because we lack knowledge of where we come from. And because we lack that knowledge, look at our condition. Most of our people don't even know the future of our people according to prophecy because they reject knowledge. But when we talk about slavery and we try to solidify the fact that what we went through in this nation in the past affects us in the present, nobody wants to make that connection. You living in the past and you bringing up the past and all these different things. Right? So people like him are test dummies to test the temperature of black people to see, okay, let's see how these niggas gonna respond now. Right? Let's see if they're gonna laugh at something that at one point was detrimental to black people. It was a serious issue to black people, so much so that it resonated around the world. Brother Yanakota, he say he's about Negroes only, right? We've been on that a lot lately too, bro. What's going on?
Hey, shalom, family. What's going on, my brethren? What's happening?
Slow motion. but in
I feel
motion.
you. Oh man. So this dude just sat here just gonna disrespect George Floyd like that. And then you see the folks in the and think, oh well, they crying because they act like he was a black saint. Nah, he wasn't no black saint. He probably did wrong. He probably did all kinds of stuff. But you know what? That was my brother. That was my cousin. That was my father. That was my uncle. That was my granddaddy that they knelt down on and suffocated the man in front of the whole world for 9 minutes to stand up there and to make a joke about that. Can you imagine if I had got up there and said something about his great great granddaddy being hung from a tree? Would it be funny then?
Oh, he gonna reveal his hypocrisy.
Absolutely.
He gonna reveal his hypocrisy, and I'll even take you a step further, brother Yanakota. You see where it say they crying over George Floyd like he was a black saint. I'll even go a step further and say he was a black saint. Who are the saints?
We are.
Right? They murdered one of the saints in the street. This is how you know that it's something divine behind this, right? Only a person with a wicked spirit will make a statement like that, not even knowing they're offending the Most High. You think there's not going to be a recompense? You think there wasn't a recompense for that? Do y'all know what happened to the dude who did that to George Floyd?
Oh yeah. Did he get he got them power blows when he was in there? They shanked his ass.
Huh?
He got stabbed 22 times in prison. Nobody joked about that. Nah, he didn't die. He survived it. But that ain't the end. That was just the prime.
Yeah. Ask him to tell a joke about that then.
And you notice how none of these heathen Gentiles got up and protested and was offended. They were sitting there laughing and smiling. This is what I call when cooning goes wrong. You see what I'm saying? When you look at Homeboy face, when everybody start getting up, when all the black people at his show start getting up and walking out, the look on his face was like, I was just joking. Nah. See, that's the problem. Black people joke too much. We not serious enough. When we get serious about us, other people get serious about us. If we keep taking us as a joke, nobody's going to take us serious. The problem is we be joking too much. We idolize cats like Cat Williams and Steve Harvey. These are entertainers. They're not leaders. You can't expect something golden to come out of their mouth.
Yep. Same thing Malcolm X said. And what do you see happening now? This whole movement of these comedians beefing. I see the Most High, everything that we've done in this nation to make it great, the Most High is bringing it down. You look at every facet of entertainment, politics that we're in, why we the ones beefing and everything? Since when do comedians start beefing with each other? Athletes beefing. You look at all these politicians, black politicians, getting in all these scandals and everything now. The sister down in what's her name? Fannie. Yeah. Now she getting exposed for what she do, right?
For having a dating life. She's supposed to be celibate. I'm sorry. She's supposed to be a nun while she work as the DA for Georgia. That don't make any sense.
A nun what? Do you know what them nuns do?
We ain't going there.
Fair use. We don't even talk about that, but check this out. A nun what?
Non-profit.
Yeah, non-profit. Look, they crying over George Floyd like he was a black saint. This is why I say people like him are representatives, because as soon as he said that, black people, you know, did what they did, made their remarks, whether they said, man, that ain't cool, or, you know, I ain't with that. And you got some black people who's with it, and think we being sensitive as well. But I say we got every right to be sensitive. Being sensitive is not being violent. It's not being negative. It's just reacting to a situation or responding to a situation. You know, this is what they want us to do. All right, it says they're hanging on to the idea that he was somehow represented something important in their lives, even though he would have stole their car to feed his drug addiction. Right? It looked like he was inside of a car when they arrested him.
And he had money. So I don't know why y'all keep talking about he robbed people. He didn't rob anybody. Matter of fact, let's get this straight for all the people out there in TV world. He was not convicted of any crime. He was merely suspected of a crime, and he did not get his just due in court. Why? Because they killed him.
Right. And that's what he was trying to get them to see. If you go look at the video, you know, they justified it saying that he was resisting. But what's the proper protocol for that? You know,
innocent until proven guilty is what I thought.
Well, you've seen people get detained before and resist arrest before, you know, and they have protocols to get them under control. Right? Even if you have to get a little physical, because that's the nature of an arrest. If somebody's resisting, that's just what's going to happen. Right? There are ways to neutralize a person without taking them away. I've seen them do it in many situations, and that's why I don't buy that. Go ahead, Fedor.
Well, once the handcuffs went on him, he should have been put in the car and taken downtown if they actually thought that he was spending fake money. But no, they want to do an interrogation right there on site. What about reading rights? So apparently they didn't do none of that, because if they ever did any of that, and we say you had the right to remain silent, that right there would have been the end. It would have been the end of that. Take him downtown. Because he said, well, I want a lawyer. I don't have to talk. I don't have to say nothing. But apparently they didn't read rights because they kept on messing with him. If they read his rights and they did that, they breaking the law. So, I mean, these people on here, man, that on social media get on this, I can't. This is really ridiculous. And this guy that did that, I don't know, but I would love to talk to him.
Yeah,
I would talk to him. I would have the biggest pork chop on the plate, so I'm pretty sure he eat pork. He looked like it, but man, I get the best food, pork chop and pepperoni pizza or whatever. And I would love to talk to this guy. He should be ashamed of himself.
You know, we're gonna look at the video he did, the interview he did, and a lot of the stuff that you probably would want to ask is going to be brought out, you know, in a lot of different ways. But I posted a comment on one of the videos that I saw. People were just giving their responses, and, you know, different people saying, get over it. Oh, you too sensitive and this and that. But I asked the question. I asked, without playing the sensitive card and without, you know, trying to attack the reaction that's coming from so-called black people, my people, can somebody explain to me or help me understand the humor in this statement? You know, a person that finds that funny, Can you explain the humor in it? Maybe it's something I'm missing. I want to laugh too, right? I want to laugh. So help me understand what I'm missing in that. And these are the questions you won't get a response to, because if you ask questions like that, now they're going to defend their right to be able to laugh at what they want to laugh at or whatever they think is funny, which is not the question at hand. Go ahead and laugh, but help me understand what you're laughing at. What do you see funny in that? Right? Or is that thinking too deep? What y'all think about that?
I'm with you. I didn't see nothing funny about it. It was like, it wasn't even a joke. To be real with you, if you go back and watch the clip, that wasn't even a joke. He was making a statement. And he was making a statement in front of an audience full of white people. And he said something that he thought would get him kudos with the white people. And it backfired amongst his own people. See, that's why my granddaddy used to always say, beware people that be telling and being disrespectful in a jokeful manner, in a joking manner. Be careful in them.
Yeah. Funny, the heathen started calling her Fanny to under like the old mammy back on the plantation. All right, because that's the role she played. Really. Now she in a lot of trouble. So they mispronounced her name. Okay. Good to see you, Songs of Yah. But yeah, what you think, Brother Kadar? Because I try
like that do, questions like that do I guarantee you they won't answer them questions like that, because that's the get over it, you sensitive, blah blah. Okay. So that question you gave them, asked them, they should have answered it. They should have been truthful about it. Hey, no, I don't see nothing funny about it. You know, you think it would be fun that was your brother? Somebody put a knee on his neck for $20 till he died. You see that being funny? I mean, I guarantee you won't get out of that.
Yeah. Because a lot of times the best way to challenge people, even though you might be upset or be offended at what was done or said, it's like, take a neutral approach, take a neutral approach and put the ball in their court and watch how much pressure they be under. They feel like they have to justify. That's what you'll hear too. Now you making me justify what's funny to me. No, I'm not making you justify it. I'm just trying to understand you. You saw something funny in that joke. I want to understand what you saw that was funny in it. And that'll irritate them more than you blatantly telling them about themselves or expressing your anger toward. Because the worst thing to have to deal with is yourself, and you find out people don't really, you go 2 or 3 levels deep and question them and trying to understand them. They don't hold no weight. This is another comedian, Gary Owens. This under fair use. He gonna give his thoughts on the, they call it a joke, but I don't call it a joke. I call it a statement, a remark. All right. A lot of people are familiar with Gary Owens. He been getting a lot of money in the black community for a while. All right. But now let's get his thoughts on this George Floyd remark. Fair use.
He did that probably because he felt bad, because he did talk to George Floyd's family, and he did have Trey the Truth. He had Stephen Jackson. I have so much respect for Trey the Truth and Stephen Jackson, but I'll just be blunt. Please stay out of comedians' business. I would never tell you how to make a jump shot. I would never tell Trey how to rap a bar. That's not my world. So with comedians, you can't pick and choose what you're offended by. And it's a tragic event, but as comedians, if he did that on Kill Tony, they're going nuts and cracking up. But he just did it in front of an audience that some people didn't know him.
Yanakota, Kadar, get him.
This fool sat there and say, you don't get the what? Hold up. I get it. I get the right to be offended at jokes, especially when the jokes ain't funny and or racist. You racist little white boy, you. And I call you a racist little white boy, you, because you was the one that decided you want to marry a black woman and have little nigga babies and be running around and then divorce her because you couldn't keep up with what was going on in that situation. Then you think you have the audacity, the mitigated gall to come into my community and try to tell us what we can and cannot be offended at. If that ain't the pot calling the kettle black, I don't know what is. You are not black, homeboy. Therefore, you don't get a chance to tell us what offends us and what don't, whether you're a comedian or not. It's just that damn simple. Don't be sitting there trying to tell other people, oh, you shouldn't be offended at jokes. Well, if the joke was offensive, then you probably should either check your joke, check yourself, or get the consequences of your repercussions. You did. Because people ain't out here playing. Not everything is funny, especially in the black community. Like I said before, we joke a little too much in our community. We joke so much that other people really think that it's okay. Now, you name me one other community, the Asian community, the Arabs, the Palestinians, the all of these other groups of people. Show me where they are okay with another group of people, even their own people, degrading their own selves, especially one of theirs that was murdered in front of the whole world. You hear Jewish people making jokes about the Holocaust? I ain't think so, but it's funny though, right? It's funny to sit there and be like, oh, well, let him just tell us jokes about a man being murdered in front of millions. That's funny. That's entertainment to them.
Well, I'm sure he has a lot of different ways of justifying it, but Gary Owens, I guess because he's a comedian, right? What he has to say holds weight, right? That's why they put things like this out. I want to address what he said. Brother Kadar, what's on your mind?
Well, he's trying to say he can't tell a comedian what to joke about, right? It's funny how when Will got up and smacked Chris Rock for talking about his wife, right? Did you see comedians speaking out about that? I guess they were scared Will smacked him. But you notice that what he said?
Yeah.
But this guy is a undercover redneck, racist, and we know that. I mean, because they married a black person, hey, that's a cover up. Deep down in their heart, they racist. You know, and this guy is racist. If that guy would have made a joke about the Ish people, I bet you this guy wouldn't have said it then. He probably would have said, oh, he shouldn't have did that. That's disrespecting. Well, you disrespecting your own people. And that's what he should have said. I wouldn't make a joke about my people or somebody, if two black cops or whatever kneel down their neck on one of my fellow pale-faced Neanderthal, whatever you want to call them, white people. I bet you he wouldn't have, made a joke about that. And so all he's doing is sitting back and laughing at the fact. I mean, this comedian guy, I don't know how popular he is, but somebody need to give him a smack just the way Will did at Chris Rock, which I don't think Will shouldn't have did it to Chris Rock, but somebody need to do that to him.
Yeah. And just to address what you were saying, there are some comedians who did bids on it. Chris Rock talked about it. A couple of other comedians, a lot of people talked about it. You know what I mean? Because once again, when something is put in the open, and I've said this many times, when something is put in the open, in the public's eye, it is open for scrutiny. It's open for critique. It's open for comment. It's open for review. Right? It's open for all of that. When a brand new movie comes out, right? what is one of the first things they do when a brand new movie comes out? They give reviews. They give critiques, right? They let you know the type of response it got from the box office viewers, the different viewers, because before it hits the mainstream, you know, it what do they call it? They have like certain premieres, you know, and certain people go to the premieres, the people who, you know, played in the film and everything, they go to the premiere of the film, and a lot of information is given from that point. And then it goes to the viewers. Then the viewers give their thoughts. So just on a fundamental level, whatever you put out there is going to be critiqued. A lot of information about the Chris Rock slap. They showed an old movie, right? That was pretty much reenacting it to pretty much let us know that all that was a distraction. If that could sum it up. But to address what Gary Owens said and to sort of build off what Yana Kotha was saying, he made a statement. He said that I don't tell Trey the Truth how to write bars, and I don't tell Steven Jackson how to shoot a jump shot. Right? Now, to give some context to what was said about George Floyd, the guy was addressing a heckler in the audience, right? And that's where the video picks up, where he was addressing this heckler in the audience that was supposedly a brother that was talking back and forth with him. And he made that statement toward the brother. You know, he said something like, you got all these good white people in here, and you showing them why George Floyd got his neck kneeled on. That's where the video picks up. He was addressing the heckler. Gary Owens said, I don't tell Trey the Truth how to write rhymes. I don't tell Steven Jackson how to shoot jump shots. However, right, if you are a fan of music, rap music, any type of music, if you are a basketball sports fan, when Steven Jackson is in that gym working on his jump shot, no, you're not in there telling them how to shoot. But when they play on Sunday evening or whatever evening they play, and he shoots that jump shot and he misses, right, and he's playing for your favorite team, guess what you're going to say about Steven Jackson? What do they always say about players and people who don't meet certain expectations?
They trash.
Boom.
So, in other words, if you are a person that's doing anything in the public eye, whether you're a comedian, whether you on YouTube, whether you're in politics, no matter what you're doing, you're open for critique. You're open for people to comment and judge what you do, weigh what you do. Right? And as a spectator, as a person who patronizes, I have a right to say, no, I don't like that joke. No, I didn't help you write it. And writing jokes has nothing to do with the context it is. He didn't write that joke. If you telling me he wrote that? Right? Whether he wrote it or not, and whether he wrote it or not, once he's spoken into the public and released it, now it's up to the public to do whatever they want to do with it. It's up to the public to say yay or nay. And that's what you have going on. You have a division. Right? We don't have a right to what did he say? We don't have a right to judge what's offensive, is what he said. It's like, who the hell needs comedians in the first place? Who needs comedians? Right? What need do they serve other than to desensitize us from life issues? How many of these comedians have told the truth about who the Most High is?
There's one that I can speak of, and he don't even do comedy no more. They scared to even say his name.
Which one?
There's one. Eddie Griffin.
Oh, Griffin.
Yup. They don't deal with him no more. The moment he got to explaining to them who he was, and he started, letting that little bit of secret out, you notice they canceled all his specials. Netflix, all of it. HBO specials, they canceled all his stuff.
That is, you don't really see much of him now, but he did kind of get into that. I seen that recently. I don't, that's up to the Most High to judge that, but he did start getting into that. That's true. But then, what need do they serve? Because real comedian, and I'm not against the art form. I'm just saying that if you're going to make it a need, right, then it has to gravitate to the people. People have to be able to connect with that need. Like we all need at times we all need a release, to release our minds and to rest our minds and spirits, right? And so you might come across something you want to watch. Okay, man, I like this dude. He's funny, but I like how he puts things because he's telling truth, right? And he's putting it in a way that, that's really putting it out there to people who really got eyes to see and ears to hear. You know what I mean? So that's a choice, but it's not a need. So who are you as a person who's selling something to tell me that I don't have a right to judge it?
That would be like running across the vendor who is selling racist T-shirts and then tell you, oh, you don't have the right to be offended. What?
You can't pick and choose what makes you mad or what makes the hairs on the back of your head stand up. Right? Just take it how we give it. Because this is where y'all should be now as so-called black people. Y'all should be able to take this stuff and not to say that anything should happen or anything should come of this, like in terms of us rising up. This is just us talking about it. Because like I said, they are testing us to see how we gonna respond. Right?
Yep.
They testing us to see if we still got some fight in us left.
Mm-hmm. Boy. How do you spell white privilege? To have the audacity to tell black people not to be upset with an ignorant, well, it wasn't even a joke, an ignorant statement from an ignorant black man. And you gonna tell us, oh, we don't have the right to be offended. If you don't sit your white behind down somewhere, my bad, because you're not white. If you don't sit your pink peach booted down somewhere and have several seats, sip some tea and eat crumpets or something, but stay the hell out of black people first. You ain't black. You ain't never been black. You had a black wife. You have black mixed children, mams or children. You ain't never been in our country. You ain't never been in our lane. You don't know what it's like to be us. To be sitting there trying to tell us what we can and can't be upset about, what we can and can't be offended about.
Yeah.
Since when we start doing that, telling people what we can and can't be offended about?
It's kind of like being in a connection with somebody who tries to control how you feel about stuff, so that they could be comfortable in doing what they want to do and saying what they want to say when they want to do it. It's like you're supposed to be able to take this, It's like we have been taking it. We have been taking it, you know. But the problem is we're a destroyed people. And that's still not enough. It's not enough that we're a destroyed people and y'all have everything already. That's not enough. You see what I'm saying? And that's how powerful the Most High is. And that's how powerful our connection is with the Most High as a people, even though we're in a downtrodden position. Even though we down as a people, we don't have a nation, we don't have a culture or a heritage that we're living out now because we're in captivity, we scattered. People still worrying about what we think and what we say. It still moves them that when somebody says something about us, there's any resistance on any level. Right? George Floyd wasn't a saint. George Floyd wasn't to be respectable. He didn't live a respectable lifestyle. Right? How do we know all that? And what does that have to do with the situation? What about all the great people of the heathens who weren't respectable, didn't live the right way, didn't do the right things in life, you know, but because they get good names in history and all this kind of stuff to cover it up, now we get to overlook all the atrocity, all the wrong that they did, all the evil that they did. And you want to talk about a man who is already a part of a people who's under a curse, because we heard some good things about him too. We heard some bad things about him. Mm-hmm. But how does that justify the situation at hand and what happened, what took place? Right? He was high on drugs. So what? Lock his ass up, take him to jail, detain him, help him get into rehab, like y'all do your own people. Get him some rehabilitation. Nah, he wasn't respectable anyway. You even got your own people talking like that.
Can you imagine being so terrified of a black person that even when they're handcuffed, you still feel threatened? So you kneel down on their neck so you make sure that they can never pose a threat to you again, because your sensitivity won't allow you, your sensitivity won't allow you to be a human being. This is what we're looking at when we're dealing with folks like that, these other folks, these other people, and y'all wonder why we be on they behind. We be on y'all behind about mixing with these heathens. They showing you every day they don't care.
Yep. Carlton Moore, shalom. He said, unfortunately, we are in the land of our enemies. Punishment for breaking the commandments, and unfortunately, Floyd was judged pursuant to Psalms. What's that? 17 through 13. Is that the chapters? It says, on the other hand, the Most High is bringing us up pursuant to Ezekiel 37, talking about the dry bones, and we will get our give back. Indeed. And that, you know, like we say, we're not condoning or justifying any wrong that our people do, even in this land, right? What we're saying is that in whatever wrong that's done, right, there's protocols that should be followed, and things like that shouldn't be happening just because you want to say somebody robbed somebody. Did he do it that day? He was on drugs, or he did this in his past. And I heard somebody say he robbed an old lady. Did he do any of that in that particular day? Is that why they detained him? And is that why they killed him? But I agree.
You know what, but every time like what this happened, they want to look at the past of George Floyd, right?
Yeah.
Right? It's we want to look at the past of George Floyd or any of us whenever we do something, right? Can you imagine when one of them get killed and we look at their past?
Right. Hold on, you breaking up, Kadar. Say that again. Say that again. You breaking up.
Y'all heard me?
Yeah.
Can you imagine if we said, well, y'all deserved it because y'all's ancestors stole us from Africa, brought us over here, enslaved us, and still have us in bondage and won't let us go? They'll think we crazy, huh?
Right. Yeah, it's just like according to the law, our Constitution, there are certain penalties depending on the level of sin and the degree that you do. With certain things that you do, that certain things are required. Right now, if you offend in a certain way, certain things require debt. Right. And certain other things require repayment or, whatever is due within that process. Within this situation, right, people are saying that we're too sensitive about one of our own being killed unjustly. Because that's the other issue. A lot of our people are killed unjustly. And when we respond, we get backlash. Or why don't y'all protest and all this when blacks kill blacks? Right? Blacks killing blacks all the time. Y'all don't protest. You know why blacks don't kill black or don't protest when blacks kill blacks? And I'm not saying we shouldn't. Right? But you know why? For the most part, we don't do that. Blacks don't protest when blacks kill blacks. Because when a black person kills another black person, justice is immediately served. Right? That's what the protests are about. Justice not being served. Y'all let this cop, a person who's supposed to be protecting and serving, kill an unarmed black person unjustly, and you want to justify it. We protest, and you respond with saying, how come y'all don't protest when blacks kill blacks? It's because when blacks kill blacks, justice is immediately served. Don't believe me? They got a whole show about it. Y'all know about the first 48?
Oh, yup. 60 days in.
Justice is immediately served. Though we're talking about a person who's supposed to be a representative of justice and peace doing this to our people.
And here's what's crazy is the same people that's telling us, oh, we shouldn't be out there protesting for George Floyd and all of this. Well, here's some perspective for y'all. Israel got attacked October 7th, right? 1,300 people got hurt, killed, and all that other stuff. What did they do? What was their response when one of their own got hurt and killed? What did they do? They launched a war that's still going on where they're committing a genocide of a people. So you want to tell us that we the ones overreacting? We the ones that's overreacting. Can you imagine if we had 1/3 of the thought process that these people had? Can you imagine what would happen here in this doggone country? This country would not exist.
Tell me about it. But see, they want to tell you we too sensitive, right? And my thing is, y'all ain't well. I ain't gonna say that. Go ahead, Kadar.
I was just gonna read Job 20:5. Somebody put it up. It says, I'm gonna start at verse 4. Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of a wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite, but for a moment. Okay.
Yeah. He says, so when a nigga is shooting at someone, but a little girl shot, is that justice? Nah, that's wicked. But guess what? The person who shot and a little girl got shot, right? He's gonna get his sentence. He's gonna get his just due. It's evil, but he's gonna get his just due, right? And they're gonna go through hell and high water to make sure that happens. Right? People go on a run and try to escape and all that. That's a different issue. But when things like this happen, that's wicked, that's evil. But justice is served on our people when things like this happen. Then this has nothing to do with a person who's responsible for maintaining the peace, unjustly murdering somebody in the street.
So don't think that we over here advocating for the misbehavior of our people out here in these streets. That's not what we're saying. That's not what we're saying at all. Matter of fact, that's not even the topic. Once again, we staying focused on what the topic is, which is these enemies. These enemies are the ones that's got us out here doing this in the first place. This is that crab in a barrel theory that everybody talk about. Oh, well, we're the crabs in a barrel. Forgetting that the barrel is not the natural habitat of a crab. Who put them in the barrel?
Somebody.
You would not have crabs killing crabs or black people killing black people had we never been brought over here in the first place. So let's keep where it is. We got to keep the accountability where it's at, because every time we get on to these heathens and these other nations for what they did, then it's always oh well, you guys got to look yourself in the mirror. Right. We've done that. We looked ourselves in the mirror for 400 years. We realized, yeah, we're not perfect, but we also know a lot of these attributes that we have acquired over the last 400 years was taught to us by the heathen slave masters. They were the ones who taught us to behave this way. They were the ones that taught us to be cynical. They were the ones that taught us to be loose and have no morals and to be eating meat with blood and all kinds of other defilement. They were the ones shoving pork down our throats, making us worship other gods, both wood and stone, teaching us divinations and such. Yeah. So if we're gonna keep the needle where it should be, yeah, I get it. We are not perfect by no means, but I will tell you this. Whenever one of us, especially here in the United States, step one toe out of line, it's God's grace just to make it to the doggone courtroom, because they may just kill us in the street. What we talking about is due process, something that's supposed to be afforded to everybody. Unfortunately, we understand that due process does not happen for us. That's all we trying to say.
Yeah, I think people understand that. You know, it's just we like to be hard on ourselves too. Like, we understand our condition as a people and why we're in this condition. It's because of what our forefathers did. Right? That's why the scripture says, Babylon, O destroyer of mine heritage. Right? The destroyer of the Most High's heritage. We put ourselves, our forefathers put ourselves in a position by going against the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments. But then he said the nations furthered our affliction. Right? We're not against any of the Most High's judgments, but we are standing with the Most High in terms of seeing that, okay, too much is too much, enough is enough. Right? It wasn't enough for us to just serve. Now you have to do all these other things. You got to separate us from our families. You got to strip us of our identity. So now we don't know who we are. We don't know where we belong or what our true connection is. Whereas you got other people, other nations of people who they like to justify by saying, oh, slavery happened to everybody. Okay, well, show me another people who are in a condition that we're in, mentally, spiritually, don't have connections to their ancestors or their ancient past. Some of them don't even really care, like most of our people don't care, right? But we have to look at the fullness of the scripture. We know that we're in this condition because of what happened between us and our Elohim. But that's between us and our Elohim. The nations took it upon themselves to say, you know what? I'm going to capitalize on that. And the Most High said all this would happen. Right? But that's just a forewarning of letting you know, hey, if you do that, this going to happen. Right? That don't mean you're not going to come back and judge the people who did the harm to your people. And that's what the Most High is saying. You got anything, Kadar?
No, I'm good. I'm ready to see this interview.
All right, fair use.
It's Willie D, y'all, back with another episode of information and instructions to help you navigate through this wild, crazy, beautiful world. In the studio, David Lucas.
Yes, sir. I'm here
Welcome
in the
to
flesh.
the show, man.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you for taking the opportunity to talk to me.
Man, you've had an interesting week.
Yeah,
It's been an interesting week.
it's been a very interesting week.
For those of you who don't know, first of all, there's been a plethora of comedians who have been going back and forth, airing out personal grievances publicly, primarily between one another. David took a different route. David, at one of his recent shows, that was, I believe that was at the Funny Bone in
Kansas City. Yes, sir.
Kansas City. Yeah. David said that he would not have kneeled on George Floyd's neck. He would have shot that nigga.
Hey, if y'all hear anything y'all want to address, just let me know. I'll stop it. Fair use.
For context, he was trying to get a black heckler off of him. And the black heckler, and I got to say this, the black heckler was very irritating. So me understanding comedy the way I understand comedy, I know you had to go in and try to eviscerate him. I get it.
Yes.
So you told him that you're trying to, you're showing why these white folks, these good white folks, why George Floyd got a knee on his neck.
Right.
And what he's doing is he's addressing the lead up to where the video came in, like we mentioned. And there's another video, I couldn't find it, but I saw it where he mentioned, he say, man, you got all these good white folks in the audience, and you want to show them why George Floyd got his neck kneeled on. All right. So the sentiment is the white folks are good, right? But the niggas are bad. And you evidence to that. You showing them why what happened to George Floyd happened to him. Right? And then followed that up with saying, I wouldn't have choked him. I would have shot him. Right? He got choked to death. Remember that the man choked him to death. And he said, I wouldn't have choked him. I would have shot him. I don't know would he have had a better chance of surviving? What y'all think?
Honestly, I think that man was handcuffed and laying on the ground. Had he have shot him, He would have been going to jail for manslaughter.
Oh, so basically he's saying he would have slaughtered him. Just got it over with.
For what? My thing is for what? What did he do?
Right.
Apparently,
What was the violation that was so egregious?
If he actually thought that the $20 he used was fake money, you think he would be sitting outside the store in the car after he used it? Come on, bro.
Yep. Usually crooks that know they got funny money, they don't stick around. They use that and dip and try to get as far away as possible. He's sitting out there chilling. He had no clue it was fake. But I guess we'll never know because we had four overzealous cops. Not just one. There was 4 cops that were overzealous. They was raised up on racism and Red Bull and decided they gonna run up on this man. Oh, he's got to be intoxicated because he's incoherent. The man was in the car asleep. Name me one criminal that commits a crime and then go outside and go to sleep. Don't worry, I'll wait.
Like I say, you know, I'm not saying all was right with that issue. Maybe he was high on something, you know, who knows? I'm factoring all that in, right? Maybe he did use some fake money. Maybe he was high on something. I saw where they tried to put him in the back of the car. He was saying that, you know, hey man, I'm claustrophobic. You know, I lay on the ground because I don't like I say, I don't know if he was actually being arrested. If he was being arrested, I'm sure they would have put him in the car, got him in the car, took him on down. I've seen it happen before with people who were violent. You know, they have ways of detaining violent, you know, detainees. Right? And some of that we might have cringed at, but at least he would still be alive. You know what I mean? But let's get back to it. She said George Floyd was compliant and cuffed. He did say he was claustrophobic and that he would lay on the ground. So I don't know, man. Let's get some more. Fair use.
Now, you would have been cool right there, perhaps, depending on how you look at it. You could have counted your losses or you could have counted your wins.
Okay.
But you took it a step further, and the crowd was, at that point, the crowd was audibly shook. But you took it a step further, and you said that you would never have kneeled on George Floyd's neck. You would have shot that nigga. You've had a week or so to think about what you said. Do you still feel the same way as far as the joke, upholding the joke and being defiant and unapologetic about it?
I'm an advocate for free speech, right?
Okay.
The great Patrice O'Neal said that a funny joke and a bad joke come from the same place. So that was my attempt at comedy.
Explain it.
It was to get shock value. I'm a troll. You heckle me, now I heckle you.
All right, so he's letting you know up front what his motive was or what his motive is. It was to get shock value, right? Now, who gives that shock value? Where does that shock value come from? Then he says he's a troll, right? I did this for shock value. I'm a troll. So in other words, what do trolls do? Trolls go around doing things to agitate, to get attention, right? They do things to agitate and to get attention, to get the eyes on them, no matter what it is. You have trolls in the comment section of your videos sometimes. You talking about one issue and then somebody come in and post something crazy, you know, what's some of the crazy stuff you've seen in the chat section? You know, I seen a Confederate, somebody with a Confederate thumbnail in the chat section one day, you know, saying something about white people. And it, what it does is it draws the attention to what they're saying. So much so you'll have multiple comments, but then that one comment will get all the attention. Right? Go ahead, Kador.
Yeah, I think we have trolls within Israel. We talking about a subject, they jump on something totally different. But Lynn, y'all said he looks like a troll.
She got that emoji too.
He trying to get that money from the white folks. That's what it look like.
Oh, that's gonna be made clear. That's why he said he did it for shock value. How do you get your shock value? Right? It's from these elites, these gatekeepers in comedy. That's how you get it on the white side. But that's him setting the base for what this is all about and what he's all about. But he's gonna make it more clear. Go ahead, bro.
I was going to say, y'all notice how he used the classic, I'm for free speech.
Oh, yeah.
That ain't free speech. That's hate speech. You speaking on a dead man. In our culture as Black people, when has it ever been cool to speak on a dead man?
Yep.
It ain't never been cool. That violates everything that we as Black people have ever been through. This is a characteristic of ours that survived through slavery. You do not speak on a dead man's name, neither good nor evil. He already done lived his life. For him to stood up there and said that, and then said that in front of the people who he said it in front of, that let me know that he was ultra cooning. Like y'all said, he was out there looking for them white people dollars. He want to be in the white people clubs. He's tired of performing in these Black clubs. This is why he said, oh, I was going for shock value. Well, shut up. You yourself is a shock value. To stand up there and say something as ignorant as what he said and then try to double down and back it up. He ain't got no intelligence nor class.
Exactly. And that free speech, I don't advocate for free speech. You know, I advocate for speaking things that's right. That's what I advocate for, because, and if you want to call that free speech, you know, I guess go ahead and call it that. But this idea of free speech is a hypocritical notion, because people who say they vouch for that or validate free speech or whatever, they're only doing it from one side. You can say whatever you want to say, but at the same time, realize that whenever you say whatever you want to say, that can turn on you. That can go both ways, and nothing is off limits, right? Free speech has no limits, no this is off limits or none of that, right? And that's why I don't vouch for that, because it's a hypocritical notion. I wouldn't want anybody saying anything they want to say about me, because that could mean me, that could mean my wife, that could mean my mother, my father, my children, right? Because that's me. If I'm speaking openly, saying what I want to say, then I'm a representative of all that. The record tells us that a child with wherewithal and wisdom covers the baseness of their parents. So in other words, you can be the type of child that don't nobody have to know your mama and daddy was no good, because they see how you act. They'll think you was raised right. So whatever you do represent you. It represents everything and everybody around you. All right, fair use.
I talked to George Floyd's brother.
When?
Sunday. Trey, you know Trey?
Yeah.
Trey the Truth?
Yeah.
I think he said he's George Floyd's brother or cousin or something.
I'm not sure what the relationship is, but I know Trey. Shouts out to Trey.
Trey the Truth.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, Trey, if I upset you personally, because that's your relative, I apologize. But I don't apologize for doing a joke. Who are we as the gatekeepers to say when a joke goes too far? I joke about beating on white women. I joke about killing white women. I joke about gay people. I joke about the transsexual community. So the moment I apologize for a George Floyd joke, now I got to apologize for every other joke. So who in this situation is the gatekeeper to tell me you went too far or you didn't go far enough? Is it because I'm not famous? If Dave Chappelle would have said that joke, what would have happened? He might would have been a little wittier because he's been doing comedy longer than me, but it's all in the name of laughter, all in the name of free speech. And a lot of people say, you're pandering, you're doing this, you're doing that. How? Because I said a joke about a black guy in front of a majority white audience. Majority of my fan base is white. That's no secret. Black people, for some reason, have never liked my comedy because I'm different. And I don't go up there and talk about big dick, little dick, big pussy, big ass jokes. Those are not my jokes.
You not funny. You just not funny. That's why black people don't like your jokes. You're not funny. You tell racist white people, what do you call them? Country club jokes. That's what you do. You are a step and fetch house Negro. That's what you are. I don't understand this dude. He literally looks like a character. Or remember them old cartoons, how they used to depict black people with the pink lips and the black face? Is what he look like. When you cool long enough, this is what you become. This is what you look like. A Sambo. I can't call him Uncle Tom because Uncle Tom was cool. Uncle Tom was the one that told us what was going on in the house. He a Sambo. He the Samuel L. Jackson of today's community. Back when he was in Django. Remember that? My bad, I had to snap. This boy, there ain't nothing funny about this clown.
Yeah, like I said, he's really giving you the game as you listen to him. All right. He first asked the question, who are the gatekeepers to say, you know, what's acceptable and what's not? And I would say the ones listening to you, right? Those who are listening to you have a right to dictate and determine what's funny and what's not, what's acceptable and what's not. Right? And if you say something that they don't deem acceptable, they have a right to respond in the manner that they feel right or needful to respond. If it's about freedom of speech and freedom of expression. Right? Nobody's telling you not to say what you feel like you want to say. However, in doing that, there are going to be reactions. There are going to be, you know, consequences, so to speak. People are going to react. People are going to give you backlash. People are going to let you know how they feel in the name of free speech and freedom of expression due to your free speech. Right, and that goes back into the even exchange. On a base level, if you say something offensive about me, on a base level, I have a right to respond or to react or to say, you know what, I don't want to hear that. Not even talking about coming back and snapping at you or saying something about you. On a base level, I have a right to say, I don't want to hear that crap. That's offensive to me. Right. And you should know better than that. You should understand the magnitude of what happened. Go joke about 9/11 and the people who lost their lives in 9/11. Go tell a joke about that. To this day, people are still grieving over that. Documentaries every year remembering 9/11, showing people holding up their family members and different people they lost and they ain't seen no more since. No jokes about that. All right. Well, I guess that was something of a different magnitude. George Floyd was somebody's family member. He was somebody's father. Right? He was somebody's brother. He just said he talked to his brother, whatever, Trey the Truth. And I don't know how that situation went, you know, but if somebody disrespects you openly or say something about your family members openly like that, and they come try to talk to you, ain't no I'm sorry he's gonna forget that, because you just neutralized your apology. I'm sorry if that offended you, but I don't apologize for telling a joke. I'm sorry if you're offended, but I don't apologize for saying what offended you. So as far as I'm concerned, you just a sorry MF. Sorry for what? You sorry that it offended me, but you're not sorry for what you did, right? I'm sorry this bullet penetrated your shoulder and broke your shoulder, that I shot at you purposely, but I don't apologize for shooting it at you. Y'all help me with that.
If I was George Floyd's cousin or brother, I'd have smacked him. He would say that to me.
I apologize. I'm aiming this gun at you and I'm gonna shoot you. And I apologize if this bullet hurt you, but I don't apologize for shooting you.
This fat 100-pound eating sucker, 500-pound eating, man, I'm gonna tell you, man, this people like this right here makes me mad. Why would you get up there and try to justify what you said? Oh, I make jokes about gays. I make jokes about trans. I make jokes about white women. When you should have that's where you need to stay at, and nobody got mad at you for making those jokes. Then he goes on, well, I'm not famous. If Dave Chappelle ain't that stupid to make a joke like that, I hope he ain't. Or anybody's famous ain't that stupid to make a joke about their people like that. This guy's Lord, where is this guy located? Y'all know where he's located?
Man, I'm with you. I'm with you, Kadar, because I couldn't have been Trey the Truth. If I was Trey the Truth and this fool decided he was going to call himself apologizing to me and started off by saying, I'm sorry, I'd have been like, I know. Why? Because I'm sorry is not an apology. It's a description. Exactly. You did what I'm talking about? I'm sorry is not an apology. I'm sorry is a description. You're letting that person know that you're sorry, that you are a sorry piece of trash. An apology is, hey, you know what? I apologize. See, he couldn't even fix his mouth to say that. If I was Trey, the moment he said, yo, I'm sorry, but not sorry for telling a joke, I'd have knocked his teeth down his throat. Now you can tell your jokes through them patchy gums. Because everybody need to understand. I don't know how we got away from this. It was like back in 2010, going backwards, everybody knew there is consequences and repercussions for everything you say and or do. Now, this next generation does not believe that they should suffer any consequences for anything that they say and or do. Just because you have the right to do something doesn't mean you should do it. If you have the right to be able to say whatever you want, well, guess what? People have the right to feel how they want. And if they lash out and knock your ass out, that's your business. That's their business. Why? Because they have that right to. You have offended them. There is a cause and effect for everything in this world. If I take a rock and throw it in the lake, it's going to cause ripples. You feel me? Yeah. If I take two rocks and throw it in the lake, it's going to be two ripples that coincide with each other. It's going to be friction. This dude is up here trying to justify the fact that he was up there. Like he said, most of my fan base is white. Well, that tell me right there, you shucking and jiving. So the type of jokes you know and the type of jokes you know you can get laughs at are racist jokes that white people tell about black people. And now it's the niche that you in. You snitched on yourself. I heard it. What's his name? What that boy name is? David Lucas?
Yeah.
Looking like a fat Gerber baby. Boy, hey, man, let me stop.
Look, he said, if you throw a rock in the water, it's gonna cause a ripple, right? If you cut a piece of a mountain off and throw it in the river, it's gonna create a tsunami, right? You drop like they say, a meteor. I don't believe in meteors, but hit that water, it's gonna create a major ripple effect. You see what I'm saying? You had fun dropping it in there, like ooh, splash in the water. As soon as you throw it in there, boom, now you got the after effect of that. Just like nobody can control what you put out or what you say, you don't control or dictate how people receive it. You don't dictate the weather or the temperature for nobody. Like everybody got to feel the temperature for themselves. Like they say, you got to feel the rain on your own skin. Right? Can't nobody tell me if I walk in a room if I'm cold or if I'm hot or not. Right? I can feel it for myself. So when you put stuff out and people say, I don't like that, that's offensive. And they judge you and critique you based on what you telling us. You told us that black people gave you a hard time because your comedy is different. In other words, like Brother Yanakota say, niggas don't like you. You're not funny. Right? Y'all get a chance, go look at some of his material. All he does is roast white people. Right? He's like a roaster. He's into that raunchy kind of comedy. You know? Hypocritical. Right, let's get some more. Fair use.
My jokes are very cerebral. So if you come to my show, I might say a lot of crazy shit, but on your drive home, you're gonna be thinking a lot. I'm a very calculated and very cerebral person.
Yeah, I'm gonna add.
Yeah, that's why people go to comedy shows so they can think, right? Is that why y'all listen to comedy? So you can think. Like, man, he wasn't funny, but I sure am thinking. Thinking about what? Fair use.
Advocate for free speech too. You know, you told me that you were familiar with my music, and I get it. I get free speech.
But
I get free speech.
Okay.
Now check this out. I really do understand comedy, and I do know that comedy is subjective.
Right.
What's offensive to one person may not be offensive to another person.
Exactly.
So, having said that, when you start talking about telling jokes about black folks' pain in front of white folks, it hit different because white folks are the dominant group in this society that we occupy.
So what if I make a food stamp joke? That could be painful for somebody.
Yes, it could. Yes, it could. But the difference is that the food joke is for everybody. A food stamp joke is for everybody. Everybody's on welfare. In fact, most white people are on welfare. So white people are on welfare than black people are.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying.
That wouldn't necessarily.
I'm not trying to argue the facts. I'm just saying, like, anything can be offensive to somebody.
Right.
Anything could be offensive to somebody. My dad died in November. You know, I joke about him. Why don't people say that's too far?
Because
there he is again, showing you how, excuse how I put this, but how wide his butthole is by throwing his father under the bus. So joking about dead people ain't nothing new for him. Like, he's revealing a lot. Your father died and you joked about him. So basically, You're a dishonorable nigga.
Say that. Honor thy father and thy mother so that you have long days on the earth.
You're a dishonorable nigga. So we're not upset that a nigga get up there and do and say what he want to say, right? Go ahead and do that, but then don't get upset or feel some type of way about the reaction or the backlash. You see what I'm saying? You showed what you're willing to do. So now we get to look at you and critique you putting it out there. I get more support from white audience. Okay, bam. That's a strike. Advocating for free speech. Okay, that's a strike. Free speech meaning what?
Hate speech.
Because he's going to reveal that he ain't really for free speech. Watch. As we look at this, he going to reveal it. Because like I said, free speech knows no limits. Ain't nothing off limits. Right? If it's in the name of free speech, if you say something about me, right, I get to respond and talk down on your dead mama or your dead grandmama. Because ain't nothing off limits. That's how the free speech game go. Now, just because you believe in free speech, that don't mean you're going to be free from backlash or free from consequence. Go ahead and say what you want to say. Right? But understand what free means. You're not the only one that's quote unquote free in this regard. So if you say that, just be ready for what happens. I tell jokes. My dad died. I tell jokes about him. Right? But let somebody else get up there and talk about your dead dad. Right? Let somebody else do it. What's on your mind, Kadar?
I hope Willie D asked him that. How would he feel if somebody talk about his dad or somebody in his family getting killed like that? That's a joke. I mean, these are the questions he need to answer. And if he really an advocate for free speech, I would love to hear him say a joke about these, about the Holocaust. See what happened to him.
Yeah, he gonna bring that up because really all he's doing. Notice no other comedian or anybody has to say that you wouldn't even know he's a comedian just by this conversation. Because of the seriousness of it. You know, now you have to make sense of what you said. What's the humor in it? Right? You're a comedian. I might say some crazy stuff, but when you leave, you're going to be thinking a lot. Thinking about what? Right? Are you that profound that when we leave your show, we're going to be thinking, damn, man, that dude is deep. He got us thinking about life. He got us thinking about, you know, different aspects of life. And it's like, from what? From what? You do have a lot of people thinking now. You got a lot of people second guessing and thinking now.
Oh.
That we have that we have to, you got us thinking that any Negro in the open like that, especially in front of white people, that we can't trust. Can we really trust this dude? That's what I'm thinking now. What good is this dude that he will get up there and say something like that, knowing the sensitivity behind it in the name of free speech and in the name of laughter, when nobody can justify what was funny about it?
And we got to ask ourselves, who was he trying to make laugh? Because he knew off rip that black people weren't going to find that funny. He knew it. So who was he really trying to make laugh? White folks. He even said it in his little speech there. He say, "Oh, I was just being a troll. I was doing it for shock value." Oh, so you wasn't telling a joke. You were just trying to be hurtful. See, that's not being a comedian. You're no longer being a comedian. Now you're just being excuse my French, y'all, an ass. Now you're just being a jerk. You feel me? Because you didn't do it for no laughs. You didn't say what you said for laughs. You didn't say that. No, you said it for shock value, which means you were trying to hurt somebody. And you ended up hurting all of your own people who came out to support your ignorant behind. Also, you can make some white people laugh. If that ain't the epitome of sellout, I don't know what is.
Yeah, be more creative, dude. That was like I'm gonna impress these white folks joke, you know. That's all that is. Shock value, trolling, attention. He's doing how people say you're trying to make yourself relevant. You know, you're trying to give yourself some relevance, and that's how you do it. You know, how people say 50 Cent in the rap game, how he started out beefing with everybody. He came in beefing with people, and that's what made him relevant, you know. But fair use.
This is your pain. You know,
well, but why? My dad died in November. You know, I joke about him. Why don't people say that's too far?
Because it's your pain. You know,
well, but people are saying that George Floyd should be my pain as well. So how can I, if we collectively share this pain from George Floyd and you want me to feel his pain, why can't I talk about it? Because comedy is a coping mechanism. I became a comedian because I did not like to fight.
He sounds like a 12-year-old little girl who's trying to justify why she should be able to stay out at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Right? Now, all of a sudden, George Floyd's situation is his pain, and this is his way of coping with it because comedy is a coping mechanism. Right? So the way you cope with the George Floyd situation is by saying you would have done something worse to him than what the person did to him to cause his death. Which I think.
I think you're spot on.
Go ahead.
Oh, you got it.
What's that scripture, y'all? When them kids was laughing at, I think Elijah, because he had a bald head.
Yeah.
And ended up dying. That's what somebody need to read to him.
Yeah.
We'll see how much of a comedy will help him cope with George Floyd's dying. You lying, dude. Come on, man. God, boy. This dude right here is the most sickest guy I've seen in my life.
All facts. And see, I'm an adult, right? We all grown men on this here panel. We all full grown men, leaders of our household. To sit there and listen to another grown man lie to our faces. He lying. Oh, this is comedy. This is comedy. I'm sorry, but between all of us, we done seen the evolution of comedy. You know, we remember Richard Pryor. We remember Eddie Murphy, and they got up there and said some pretty wild stuff. You know what they never did? Got up there and disrespected a dead man. Ain't nothing funny about that.
Yeah.
But he said it like he said for out of his own mouth, Zion. This is what he say out his own mouth. I did it for shock value. In other words, it was not a joke. That's how he really felt. That's how he really felt. And like you said, so you mean to tell me, to justify what you say, you would have shot George Floyd, thus ending his life faster and more violent than what already happened to him? just so you control and get a shock value out of people? Well,
Man,
I'm telling you.
That's like one of your homies, right? A lot of people have friends that have passed on, you know, and a lot of people know people who died tragically. You know, some of it was accidents, incidents, you know. That's like you having a homie who died, who may have got hit by a car, you know, car speeding, and he step out in the road to try to save somebody, and he get hit and die. And you cope with that by saying, man, I would have just shot him. You know, I would have shot him myself. No, that's not how you cope with that. And that's how you know, like somebody said, this is a lame excuse, a weak excuse to justify it. Now you're trying to make us believe that this is how you're coping with the pain of a situation that you're not even really giving a damn about no way. Because if you did, you would think about his children. You would think about his family. You wouldn't bring up, oh, he was a criminal and he was this and he was that. You see what I'm saying? And we're not, that's neither here nor there, because I don't know the man personally. All I know is that when things happen to Black people like this, they want to go into their past and talk about, oh, he's an ex-con and he did this and that to desensitize you to what happened. The man was murdered unjustly in front of everybody. See, and the main thing they're saying to themselves is these niggas didn't do nothing about it, no way. They know all niggas gonna do is protest anyway. So they trying to take that from you. I'm telling you, this dude was a tester to test water. Let's see if these niggas still got some fight left in them. Right? He looked like one of them. He looked like a black redneck.
He do.
You take one of them white dudes, they be having them beards and all that. He just got some hair on his head. That's what he represent. Right? He's paid by people who wish they can just blatantly say openly what he said and worse.
Mm-hmm. And then give him the false impression, oh, it's okay to say it because he said it. No. That's why I was super proud of those Black folks that got up and walked up out of his show. You mean to tell me I don't have a say-so and I don't have the right to be offended when I paid money? I paid money to show up to see you? Oh, no. Oh, no, that's not how that works. If I'm paying money, that's a transaction. Guess what? I better get what I paid for.
Yeah. Hey, Lorenzo, didn't they cut Richard Pryor's show short after he started, after he did that episode where he showed the Egyptians was Black? They cut his show short. All right. So he would have done George more ugly over a fake $20 bill that's been ignored now. Exactly. That's how he coped with the pain of George Floyd's death, by saying, I would have shot the nigga. All right. Come on, dude. You sound like a B.I. is what you sound like.
I ain't heard that in forever.
B.I. That's what you sound like. You ever listen to a teenage girl just make excuses for doing some nonsense? Go ahead, Kador.
One more thing. He said he started doing comedy because he don't like to fight.
Right.
I tell you what, you don't need to do that type of comedy because you're going to get your butt whooped.
How the hell you take a job where you professionally get paid to talk trash, but you don't like to fight? What? You You can't make this up.
I mean,
He in the wrong profession.
well, he is, but you know, getting wise good. He getting wise good because people like this ain't relevant, man, and they won't be for long.
Hey, Pincy Lola say Uncle Ruckus. No relation. How dare y'all come in here breathing all the white man's air with your nigga nostrils?
Yeah. You know?
Oh my goodness.
Don't trust them new niggas over there. Like, this a new one right here. See? He's a new one. Fair use.
Yep.
I don't necessarily believe that George Floyd pain should be your pain. But what I'm speaking to is that
but I should relate to it, right?
No, but I think that anybody can relate to having empathy. All of us should have a capacity to have empathy. You know,
I do have empathy.
So when you think about making a joke about George Floyd, somebody who died, and it sparked an entire movement all around the world, because black people, black men specifically, are being gunned down in the streets like dogs by the police, and there's no accountability for it. And so here's the thing. I get that you have a majority white audience and you have to tell jokes that makes them laugh also. But here's the difference.
Can I ask you a question, Mr. Willie?
But here's the difference. Let me finish the point.
Okay.
Absolutely, you can ask me a question. The point is, George Floyd, what happened to George Floyd could happen to you. It's more likely to happen to you than anybody in your white fan base.
Okay.
And so that's the difference. And also is because, see, when you crack jokes about white folks and that could possibly offend white folks,
right?
The difference between offending them and offending us is that they can decide when they don't want to laugh anymore and when they want to shut you down. They could shut you down. We don't have the luxury or the power to shut you down like that. They can tell you at any point, you ain't playing no more funny. You ain't playing at the Funny Bone anymore. You're not gonna play at the Improv. You're not playing at none of these arenas and stuff that we own. They could shut you down. You ain't getting no films. You ain't getting no sitcoms. And that is the difference, I do believe, in why black comics will offend black people and feel no need to apologize.
I don't believe
but stay away from jokes that offend white folks.
I don't agree.
Explain.
Because I have jokes that offend white people.
What I'm saying, I get that. But there is, when it comes to jokes that offend white folks, you can tell jokes that offend white folks. That's not a big deal as far as just telling the joke itself. As long as white folks are laughing at those jokes. As long as white folks, for example, Richard Pryor would tell jokes about white folks all the time. Richard Pryor was one of the most conscious comedians ever, but you wouldn't know it if you wasn't really watching and really thinking, because Richard covered everything. But one thing what he did is that even in our pain, he made, if he talked, whoever he so-called offended, he made that particular group or person laugh first.
Okay.
And he made them laugh at his jokes first. And they didn't have to look around and see who else was laughing. He made them laugh first. He made white folks laugh. But here's the deal. When you make white folks laugh at your jokes, and you're a black person, you making white folks laugh at your jokes, for example, that's cool. As long as at the end of the day, they know that they still hold the trump card.
But what joke determines that?
What joke determines that?
What joke determines that they still hold a trump card? I have literally embarrassed white people in front of white people.
Words. I saw you. I saw it.
Okay.
I saw it.
I just want everybody to know that I'm an equal opportunist.
You are. You're an equal opportunity offender. I get it. But what I was saying is that when you offend white folks and you offend black folks, there's a different dynamic at play, because they can shut you down. You, like you said, because your fan base is predominantly white, people accuse you of pandering.
But that wasn't by choice.
What?
Y'all got anything so far on what you heard?
He acting like a politician right now. He act like he done. Willie is being straight up. These white folks can shut you down. So you better make someone laugh, because they stop laughing, you done. Black folks, we don't own nothing. Why he having a hard time to understand that? Come on.
What did he say? He said, what joke determines that? The joke when you tell it and you look around and the white folks ain't laughing, that's the joke. That's the joke that lets you know that you went too far. When you are no longer invited back to the comedy club or any comedy club, black or white, that was the joke that went too far. When you're no longer allowed to post on social media, on any platform, that was the joke that went too far. I mean, I'm not even a comedian and I know that. So he's just sitting there, like Kadar just said, he's sitting there trying to play stupid. He understands exactly what Willie D is saying.
Right. I think more people are concerned with, or the idea that people have is that everybody responds to the same to everything. Like there are some jokes that I've heard people make about black people, stereotypical things that if you listen to them, you know, okay, I can see that, you know, you might laugh at it. But then I seen a dude do a comedy bid where he talked about stereotypes from every demographic of people, you know, and it was receivable. It wasn't offensive. He was just breaking down the way different people are. This is how Chinese people are. This is how Mexican people are. This is how white people are. This is how black people are. This is how Arab people are. Within just explaining different situations, he'll give a scenario and then describe how different cultures react in those scenarios. You know, one dude talked about how he had a white friend, you know, and he saw how his white friend talked to his mother, you know, when she told him to clean up something. He talked about how he went home to his mama, black mama, and, you know, y'all know the rest. And so it's ways you can do things, right, without offending people purposely. And that's what I think he did. He wasn't trying to be funny. He was bringing offense and shock value, like you said. It's like that. If he's willing to say that and do that to his own demographic of people, what else is he willing to do? Right? What won't he do? What won't he say? What won't he do to get this sitcom or get this deal or whatever? Right? He's on all the major outlets, all the different comedy clubs and different things. How do you get that? Right? And you got a whole demographic not even dealing with you. Your own demographic not even dealing with you, but you can get into improv and all these other popular comedy clubs and you moving up the ladder. What's really going on? Right? Fair use.
It wasn't by choice. That your fan
My
base
fan
is
base.
predominantly white.
Let me tell you a quick story. I moved to LA straight out of high school. I was 19 in the city where I didn't know nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce was my mentor at the time from Atlanta because I was going to his mics. You know, I went to all the black clubs that he told me to, and these people gave me so many problems. So I said, if I'm going to have problems in this entertainment industry, it's not going to be from people that look like me. And we both can sit here and agree that if I go do a black room, I have to limit my subject matter, period. This comedy is not about colors. It's about It's more so about classism.
Have you told any Holocaust jokes?
Yes, I have plenty of Jewish jokes.
You got Holocaust jokes?
It's on YouTube.
Oh, I got to see that. Because I'm in the.
Hey, Kadar, you hear him ask him. He said, "Have you ever told any Holocaust jokes?" What did he say? He said, "Yeah, I got plenty of Jewish jokes."
Mm-hmm. On YouTube.
But
we know it's a lie. If you even mention them people, they booting your video.
Now, the thing about Jews, they control the industry, so they'll let you even talk about them to a degree, depending on how you doing it. But he asked him, it's like what's the name of that show? It's like a show where they sit up and roast each other. Patrice O'Neal used to be on it, and now they still doing it. They got all these white comedians. Most of those dudes are Jewish. And they sit up there and they just tell raunchy jokes and talk about each other. And so once again, for shock value and views and all that kind of stuff, they will allow that because it brings the crowd. But there's always a limit. He asked him if he ever told a Holocaust joke. He said, "Yeah, I've told plenty Jewish jokes." He said they're on YouTube. Now, this dude ain't never told no Holocaust joke.
He sat there and lied. I would have like, okay, tell us a Holocaust joke then.
Yeah, I would have made him exempt. What did you say? Right? Now watch how he press him, right? Fair use.
The reason why I asked, because I a lot of black comedians that I know that will talk about slavery, they have yet to tell a Holocaust joke.
Yes, sir. I have a Jewish joke.
I want to hear that.
I will find it. I roast battled a guy, and I made a Jewish reference when I roast battled him.
What's the joke?
This is like 7. I'll find it before the end of the episode, but I will find it for you. This was like 7 years ago. It's on YouTube.
You don't remember the joke?
I mean, it's been 7 years, but I will find it.
But a Holocaust joke, that's something that seemed like.
Well, it wasn't a Holocaust joke. It was a joke against Jewish people.
Well, that's different. That's.
I mean, it's this.
Now you see
He
how
got him. He got him. Thank you, Willie D. He got him.
You see how he pressed him? Because a Holocaust. Because I'm thinking the same thing. Like something like that would stand out. You know, something like that you would remember, at least to be able to sort of tell us how it go, a setup or something. But you don't remember nothing. It's on YouTube. I'll find it for you 7 years ago. How the hell you gonna find it then if it was 7 years ago and you don't remember the joke? Where you gonna find it at? Now you trying to shake the spot. Like, nigga, you ain't never told no Holocaust joke. Now you gonna flip it. It wasn't a Holocaust joke. That's what we saying. Now you wanna put it back on track. It was a Jewish joke. No, it's not the same thing. He asked you if you ever told a Holocaust joke, and you lied and said, yeah, then flipped it once you got pressed. Now it's about 7 years ago, and you don't remember none of it. Come on, dude. Come on. What y'all think, man? Fair use. We'll keep going.
I was going to say, that boy lying through his teeth.
Yep. Big time. It's like, come on, how you not remember your own material?
Yeah. First of all, how you gonna tell me straight to my face that you got a Holocaust joke on YouTube? I'm not stupid, man. There's no way. There's no way that would get any kind of views on doggone YouTube. They would hit his ass with a doggone strike. You go against our community guidelines, and they would have yanked that off of there. Because I know that, because over at Negroes Only, we can't even say the ish people's names. We can't even say their names.
Yeah.
And they already hitting us with a strike.
Yep. That's why I believe I got a permanent strike. All right. On my channel. Because I played a video showing the ish kids spitting and throwing milks at black kids, and they took the video down. Right, but he said a Holocaust joke, right? Then he flipped it and put it in perspective, and that's what he was trying to show. Like it is a certain level you won't go to, right? Because you paid by certain people, and when people are paying you, they tell you what they want, right? I'm paying you. This is what I need. This is what I want, right? Fair use.
No. That's different because you're talking about.
But we're talking about an event versus an individual. I didn't make.
You're
I
talking
didn't.
about
I didn't.
people. You're talking about.
But that's an event.
You're talking about a.
So first you lie about it, then you clean it up. Now you're trying to justify by saying, well, George Floyd was an individual. The Holocaust was an event, right? Slavery was an event that took place way longer than the Holocaust, but niggas will tell slavery jokes, right? Fair use.
A particular group of people versus exactly an event, an atrocity that Jewish people don't take lightly.
But that's an event versus a group of people.
But
those are two different instances when it comes to comedy. Like I respect you when it comes to rap. Like I can't tell you how to write 16 bars, and no disrespect to you, but you can't tell me how to write a joke, and nobody else can. I get
that. But here's the thing.
So what I'm saying is,
we can't tell you how to write a joke.
But you're talking about a situation. You're talking about an event versus an individual. I didn't
see how he got an attitude. He threw that in there. That's irrelevant to the topic, right? We know you can write what you want to write, right? But once again, that goes back to if you can write what you want to write and put it out there, we can receive it or reject it in the way that we see please and fit for us. You know, why do you feel the need to be so harsh against this one demographic with certain issues, right? When it comes to things that you know affect black people, you'll joke about it, and we're just supposed to get over it, right?
But you notice how he said, my bad for interrupting, but you notice how he said in an interview, he said, if I play an all black room, I have to change my material.
Yeah.
And that's because he knows within the heart of his hearts and his mind that if he was to ever play in all black clubs or an all black room, that a lot of what he says would not fly and he would get his behind whooped.
Probably get shot up there on that stage, right? Probably get his neck kneeled on up there.
In front of your people, why would you say it in front of the I can't understand it.
You go in a black club and say something.
Why you would say it in front of white people?
Exactly. Because in a black club, he'll probably get his neck kneeled on or get shot for saying something stupid. Right? You say something wrong in a black club, it'd be some cats waiting outside for you.
Facts. Because in the black community, we understand there are consequences and repercussions for everything you say and do. He's like, he grew up on the other side of the track and he don't know that. But how is it that all the rest of us understand that? But he's supposed to be protected because he's a quote unquote comedian. That don't make no sense. In the black community, being a comedian don't mean nothing. That don't give you no protection in the hood to sit there and run your mouth.
Shoot. And it's a lot of comedians. Like in my neighborhood, it's hood comedians. You know? Like comedians and dudes that is well respected in the hood, and that's what they do. And they local. Get a lot of respect. They don't, they'll joke and say stuff, but it's stuff that we can all relate to. Right? Stuff that go on in the hood and everyday life and just stuff they going through. They'll get up there and talk about it, but nothing offensive. You know what I'm saying? But
You know, I mean, and it usually has like a drop of truth in it. You know what I'm saying? Like how black people, you know, we wash our chicken, white people don't.
hey, don't, and that's not even a joke. That's a fact.
But it's funny.
That's a
You
real
see what I'm
fact.
saying?
And I noticed once because I went with one of my cousins to a barbecue, a white barbecue. And that's how I know I will never go to one again. Experience.
The raisins in the potato salad, wasn't it?
Nah, it was the baked beans and the chicken.
Oh, no.
I seen something that almost made me scream out, hell no, out loud. I had to hold it in. I had to hold it in. I never seen baked beans made like that ever in my life. And I had to hold it in. I had to hold it in, bro.
I didn't know you could mess up baked beans. They come in a can.
You know how you get that feeling where you somewhere and you don't want to touch nothing?
Yeah.
That's how I started feeling after that. You know. But experience is the best. Well, experience is a good teacher in certain situations. You know, you don't have to fully experience stuff to know, but I went just off GP with one of my cousins, and I realized that that's nothing I never want to do again. Not to
he talking about,
and I'm not saying all of them do that. Some of them probably do, but that was enough for me to know that I'm good at cooking chicken myself. I can cook chicken.
Hey, you know what's funny about this dude? He sat there and said, "Oh, I can't remember the joke. I can't remember the joke." We are not even comedians, but watch this. Him downstairs. I bet you everybody remember that joke. Everybody remembers that joke that Bernie Mac said about him downstairs.
Where the cookies?
You see what I'm saying? You're not gonna tell me you forgot a joke when we are not even comedians, and we can remember all kinds of jokes that doggone Bernie Mac said, that Eddie Murphy and them said, that Eddie Griffin and them said.
This nigga said 7
One
years
thing that
ago.
was dope about Eddie Griffin was he would teach you as you was laughing. Most people didn't understand metaphysics until he got up there and was joking about it. And then when he was done, folks was like, dang, he just taught us physics.
Yeah.
You know, when you take the physical and the spiritual, put it together, what do you got? Metaphysical. That was the joke. But it was true.
Look, even though he was wrong about them pyramids, I still say giants and stuff built that stuff. But he did give a breakdown on it to have people thinking, you know, that this is a possibility. But yeah, man, I mean, what he's doing, like Sister Pensy Lola say, he deflecting, he trying to justify why he should be able to say what you want to say when ain't nobody trying to make you justify that. We're just letting you know that when you say what you want to say, don't get sensitive with the backlash. Right? Don't call us sensitive for responding and saying, man, this nigga whack, he not funny. That's why black people don't like your comedy. Right? I know dudes from the hood that can roast worse than him. Right? They not in the mainstream.
Facts. Let's put him on Wildin' Out and have him go against DC Young Fly, and we'll see who funny.
Oh, wow.
DC will mop the floor with dude. Why? Because DC is naturally funny.
Wow.
And he does not have to disrespect the dead to be funny.
DC remind you of one of them cats you went to school with that was always acting up in class or something. Had everybody laugh.
Beating on the desk.
Yeah. One of them, because I had a homeboy like that. Like I was the one who I never talked and all that, but I was always laughing.
Right.
You know? Cause I had some funny homeboys, man. Stuff we used to do in class just had you laughing, you know. But nah, he's just revealing more. Let's get some more fair use.
Let's get some more.
I didn't. So if we had to compare, it would be, oh, David made a civil rights joke about the civil rights movement, because if we're talking about events, that's equivalent to the Holocaust, not in the same dynamic as to what happened, but I'm saying an event, whereas we're talking about an individual, right? You get what I'm saying? Whereas you're trying to say, making a joke about a Jewish person is not the same as making a joke about the Holocaust. And what I'm saying is, I didn't make any jokes about an event pertaining to Black people.
Have you made a slavery joke before?
Yes, plenty.
That's an event.
It is an event, but we're talking about the joke that I'm right here, right now for, because I have. If you go scroll through my Rolodex of jokes and my videos, because I'm not ashamed of anything, you can find many of jokes that we can sit here and pick apart.
The George Floyd incident escalated into an event when it became a movement.
Why? Why?
Because it became a movement. And because people protested all over the world, because of that event.
So how do you feel?
It was that event that triggered the protest all over the world.
So how do Black people feel about white people protesting with them for the Floyd movement?
I think that it depends. Well,
he said, how do Black people feel about the white people that protested with them in the Floyd movement? Probably the same way we feel about the white people who protested during the civil rights movement. What was their motive? Right? There's a lot of people who protested during the civil rights movement from other demographics. But when it was all said and done, they're the ones who benefited from the movement, not us. Black Lives Matter, right? They keep wanting to bring up Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter ain't funded and started by Black people. Black Lives Matter is not ran and controlled by Black people. Black women are in the forefront of that. It said that it was 3 Black lesbian women in the forefront of that. Right?
Wiccans at that. They were witches.
People want to get mad and say, well, what happened to the money? Well, whatever happened to the money was the intent from the jump of why they even started the movement. So why are we even asking about that? Why are we investigating them women for what they did when they did their part and they got paid for it? Black Lives Matter is not a Black movement, just like BLM. It's an acronym. During the Civil Rights era, it was the Black Liberation Movement, the same acronym, same type of people. If you look at the characteristics of the people who are the forefront of the Black Lives Matter movement, these are the same people who were in the forefront during the Civil Rights movement. I keep telling you, it was a front movement to push in what we see now, this homo agenda. They tried to do it back then under the guise of civil rights. Why do you think everything we protest and fight for, every other group benefit from it? What's the main group that's stepping in our cause now? It's the gay movement.
How was the NAACP founded by white folks?
See, but when we speak out now, we gotta defend, well, Black Lives Matter and the NAACP. We don't have nothing to do with that. We didn't put them in the forefront. They started that and put Black faces in place. Right, and now we're supposed to look at that as something meaningful.
It's a whole setup. It's just like during this whole George Floyd thing, this is where the word woke came from, is during this event that this dude refuses to admit was an event. It was an event when they sat there and knelt on that man's neck for over 9 minutes. And the whole world, not just the United States, The entire world watched it. It was one of the largest world events that took place in this century.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? This was one of the largest events that took place in this century. Why do I say this century? Why? Because the Million Man March, the civil rights, all of that did not take place in this century. That took place in the 1900s. The mid to late 1900s. In 1996, 1998. You see, 1964, 1968. These were in the 1900s. So this wasn't even in this century when all of that stuff took place. And then they don't want to be honest about the fact that the Civil Rights Bill was originally called the Negro Rights Bill. And the NAACP founders and operators were the white people and said, well, we don't think this bill is going to get passed if it's just Negroes on the bill. Well, what we'll do is we'll call it civil rights because it's a civil problem.
Right.
And by them changing it to civil, they allowed all the other people to come in.
Because supposedly we're not real civilians, right? You're a slave. You got all the documents and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But you 3/5 human. When did they ever change that?
Oh, it's still in there. It's still on the books. 13th Amendment, for those of y'all that's looking for it and want to find it on the books, 13th Amendment. It's the 13th and 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment did not end or abolish slavery, and neither did the 13th Amendment. It literally ratified it and gave it a new name called the Prison Industrial System. So slavery was never done away with. These people, this country, the United States, still is run off of what? Human trafficking. Why? Because when you send somebody to prison, you take them from their home and put them in that place. What is that? That's human trafficking. It's literally human trafficking. You're taking one person to another in bondage, in chains at that. That's called human. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm talking about? Human trafficking.
Indeed.
This is what the country was even founded off of. The country was founded off of the human trafficking of who? Africans that they got from the west coast of Africa, Hebrew Israelites. Mm-hmm. And you're gonna stand there with a straight or sit there with a straight face. This is why Willie D has a look on his face like, I can't believe I'm talking to this idiot. He does that. No. He knows. He's just trying to play a game.
He's unaware. I mean, for you to say that the George Floyd was a personal incident, right, and not understand the magnitude of that and how it spread across the whole world, lets us know how unaware you are and how you're using this idea of free speech to box everybody into what you want to say. And it's not funny, right? That's all I want is somebody to help me understand the humor in it. So I can say, oh, okay, I can see that part of it, right? But where's the humor in it? Right? I'll neutralize myself. Help me understand. And nobody can do it. You'll get all of this talk about everything else and all this other stuff, but nobody can make sense of that. Where was the humor in that? That was just flat out wrong, man. And like I say, it ain't create no backlash or nothing. This dude not really that important. It's just what we showing you is that this is an angle that we being attacked from through our own people. Our own people are willing to sell us out for fame, prestige, and money in the name of free speech and make excuses in doing so. Right? This is how I cope with the George Floyd situation by saying I would have did worse than the cop did. Zephaniah 11:5. Pull that for me, Yana Colton. Zephaniah 11:5. I'm while you're doing that, I'm gonna play some more on the fair use, and then we're gonna get that out. Unless you got it already.
I'm pulling it up now. Let me pull it up.
All right. Go ahead and put it up and let us know what that's telling us. But
Zephaniah 11:5.
Yeah.
I give you I'm gonna text you when I'm done. When I get it.
It says, we do not love one another. We love other nations and strangers, right? And you know what's funny about that? Songs of Yah, that's true. We do. And when I say we, I'm speaking in general. I'm not saying individuals, myself, or nothing, but we include ourselves in the fullness of our people. We do love other nations. And it's funny because prophecy even prophesies about the love we have for other nations and how they've in turn given us hatred for our love. But what's even more funny is how whenever stuff like this happens and we speak out and everybody want to act like we hate everybody, you know, black people are the most racist and all this kind of stuff. Get over it, right? They want to act like we hate everybody whenever we speak out in certain instances, right? Because we don't even really do a lot of speaking out and crying out like they say we do. And when we really start to do that, then they're gonna understand. But I do agree with that, and I think it's funny how they use that against us whenever we speak out, and all of a sudden we hate everybody.
And I think what they meant was Zechariah 11. Zephaniah doesn't go to chapter 11.
Oh, Zechariah. Okay. What that say?
Zephaniah only goes to chapter 3. But Zechariah chapter 11 and what was verse 5?
Yeah.
It reads this and likewise. 11:5 for Zechariah. Who's on? Well, I'm going to start at verse 4. Thus saith Yahuwah, my Elohim, feed the flock for slaughter, whose owners slaughter them and feel no guilt. And their sellers say, blessed be Yahuwah, for I have become rich, and their own shepherds do not spare them.
Pity them not. And that's what you see happening, right? They want us to believe that because George Floyd had a past or he did things that was justifiable, right? They want us to believe that. They holding themselves not guilty, even though this man got arrested. You know, if it wasn't for the backlash, right, that man would have got arrested. I don't think he would have gotten arrested if it wasn't for the backlash worldwide.
I don't know. I think they would have let it roll. It had just been counted as another thing, you know, just tick it off and keep it going. And I noticed everybody talks about George Floyd's past, but they don't want to talk about Chauvin's past. You know, they don't want to talk about how many times he got written up for excessive force.
Yeah.
Huh? They don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about how many times he violated people's rights. No, they only want to talk about George Floyd and his past. I guarantee you Chauvin had a past too. Chauvin did some things when he was a kid. Chauvin did some things when he was a young man. I guarantee you. So we're supposed to believe that this cop is a saint, but not George Floyd, even though he is an Israelite.
Right. The one that is a saint ain't a saint.
Ain't that something?
It's because they don't know who the saints are.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't talking about the New Orleans Saints. You know?
Somebody talking about Drew Brees.
Yeah, if I had to choose, I'm a Cowboys man myself, but that's by default. I don't even really like.
And that's already blasphemous.
You say that's blasphemous? Hey, bro, I ain't gonna even argue that because Dallas, man, Dallas a trip when it comes to their sports, man. They are a trip. But yeah, I mean, this is what we dealing with, man. They want to desensitize how we respond. They want to control how we respond to what affects us. Right. And if we say we don't like it, oh, y'all sensitive, y'all hate, you know what I'm saying? Y'all got this hatred in your heart. Y'all need to get over it. So get over 9/11. Right.
I got hatred in my heart. I need to get over it. I'm like, look, if I had hatred in my heart, you know.
Exactly. You know, get over it. And you know what's funny? We have done everything we could to get over it, get past it. Most people that I see who talk about this stuff are not people who just sit around and use this as excuses. You know what I'm saying? People still get up and handle their business, do what they got to do. Mm-hmm. Right? It's just know that in spite of that doesn't alleviate you from the guilt of what you did and from the punishment to come.
Facts.
I got to keep living my life day to day. I got to keep thriving, right? Just like with reparations. Every time you bring that up, they want to say, y'all just lazy and don't want to work. It's like, niggas go to work every day. What are you talking about?
Every day. Matter of fact, we worked for 300 years for free.
Exactly. Oh, y'all lazy. You call me lazy after the fact. I come to work for you and work a full day and you don't pay me. And when I come ask for my money, you want to say, oh, you just need to keep working. And when I say, nah, I ain't working, oh, you lazy. No, I don't want to work because you've proved that if I work, you're not going to pay me. Oh, you lazy. You just making excuses. Yeah, but the work is done. The work is already done. You haven't paid me for the work, right? You holding back my payment by fraud and calling me lazy. The work is done. Now I don't want to work for you no more, right? And even if I do say, okay, I still got to work, you want to make that hard for me. Now I got to get it out the mud and all this kind of stuff. You know how our people are.
Uh-huh.
Ain't no excuses, get out there and get it. So we do that. Okay. We're going to go on and get it out the mud then. Right? I shouldn't have to get it out the mud and you holding what's owed to me.
Absolutely.
Yet and still I get it out the mud and you still holding what belonged to me.
I remember I got a strike on my Facebook page because I was talking about this. I was like, Black people really need to stop going to the United States talking about we want reparations. United States did not exist when we were placed into captivity and brought to this land. United States didn't exist at all. United States existed when they became a country in like 1775, 1776. That was 100 years after we had been here.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So who are we supposed to go to, Yanakota? The UN. Why? Because all those nations that participated in spreading us all over the world, they are responsible to include some of the countries, well, all of the countries in the west coast of Africa. The slave force. Why? Because they were implicit in it too. They had to have an exit place, right?
Right.
This is why they don't want us to go to the UN and start asking for reparations, because it's going to take the entire world's wealth. All of Western civilization would fall. Why? Because that money belongs to us.
Exactly. Exactly. Talking about
That's one of the reasons why they killed Malcolm.
Exactly. Danielle Hughes Dawson. Shalom, sis. What's going on? It's been a while. She say, thank you for bringing this to light. I have to teach a class right now, but y'all are bringing up valid points. People are strange. The hate that is subliminally dished out should always be exposed. Love and light. Absolutely. Good to see you, sis. Hope all is well. But yeah, we dealing with this because, just one of them things to show what they up to. This is an angle they coming at us from, you know, trying to attack us. It's like everything that they are saying black people need to do, we have done it, right? Y'all need to come together, right? We did come together. What did y'all do about that? Y'all broke that up because y'all understand that us coming together means that other nations and demographics won't benefit from us. We are the X factor in this nation that causes all other races and demographics to prosper. Don't believe me? Why is it that 70% or more of businesses from foreigners are opened up in our communities where we once lived and had businesses and thrive? They allow them to come do it. Everything they say we need to do, we have done it. And now we're just at a point where, you know, we can't really fight back. We don't have nothing central to fight back. That's how destroyed we are. When the Most High said that he was going to put a yoke of iron around our necks until we are destroyed, that is exactly what happened. We are so destroyed that you got some niggas looking at this and telling other black people niggas that we sensitive for it. Y'all need to get over it. As if they done got over it and they so whole and healed and everything. We all messed up as a people. And everything they know and understand to keep us destroyed is what they perpetuate. This is one of them. We can't even come together and understand when we being attacked. Because we too busy trying to prove that we not sensitive. Somebody light a fire under your feet. You just got to sit there and take it. Don't feel it. Don't move. Don't flinch. And that's how we think we have to respond to people doing this stuff to us. But the Most High said he heard the cries of his people. Not us trying to sit around and be tough. The Bible say oppression will even drive a wise man mad. Meaning you keep doing it long enough, you're going to see niggas doing stuff. Man, I didn't even think he would do nothing like that. Right? He just snapped and just went off on everybody. I thought he was different than that. It's because of this oppression, all this weight, all this expectation. Black people supposed to be able to take this. Black men supposed to be able to take that. Black women, y'all supposed to be able to deal with this and not complain. Y'all supposed to be able to deal with being cut short on every end and take it and not complain. And guess what? We've been doing that and still making it happen. We done made me and niggas look cool. Everybody want to be a nigga now, but don't nobody want to deal with what niggas been dealing with. Fair use.
How can we pick and choose?
I don't know how all black people felt.
But I'm saying this what I'm receiving
about the white people that protested. I'm sure that there are black people who I'm sure that there's a mixed bag of feelings.
And let me ask you a question. When you spoke on me Sunday, wasn't that supposed to be a voice of black people?
I don't know if that's the voice of black. That's my voice as a black man.
But how many people were on your YouTube when you made that statement about me?
I don't know.
A few 10,000.
Yeah, something like that.
So at that moment, you're the voice for those group of black people.
I'll take that.
So right now, you should be the voice for that same group of black people. So how do you feel being the voice for a few 10,000 black people? How do you feel with having white people? When do you pick and choose when a white person is an ally? Because how can you say the people at my show were not allies? What makes them an ally?
When they clearly are an ally. When you're helping and not hurting. When you're sitting.
What's helping?
Well,
you know why he's asking, how do you pick and choose when white people are allies? Because he has aligned himself with the white structure that controls that. That's what he's letting you know. Because he's aligned with them, right? Now all of a sudden we can't pick and choose when they are allies. They making my life better. They paying me this money, so they are my ally, right? So now I have to play this role where I'm just in the middle, right? I'm not a black man myself. I'm just a human. I don't see color. It's only two things in this earth don't see color. That's dogs and blind folks. And maybe something else. I don't know. But I know for sure blind people. They say dogs can't see color. I don't know how true that is, but I'm just, for the sake of what they taught us all our life, I'm going to say that now. So you got to be one of them two in order not to see color. One or two of them things.
And that's got to be like the biggest disrespect that a white person could say. They're like, what they call that? A microaggression. Where they tell you, oh, I don't see color, so you don't see me. So now I don't exist to you. Oh, because you get to have that privilege not to be able to see color. Interesting how that privilege goes. And then you got these buck dancers, like this dude on here, whatever his name, David Lucas, buck dancing on here talking about, oh, I don't see color. And well, how can you tell when a white person is an ally? What are you talking about? According to the Bible, Zion, ain't none of these folks your allies.
Absolutely.
Ain't none of these people your allies. The Most High said he was going to send us to in bondage in a land of our enemies. He didn't say, I'm going to put you in bondage in the land of your friends. So understand, if you are still in the land of your captivity, the people that are in this land of your captivity are not your friends. They are your enemies. And some of your enemies will laugh and smile in your face. Whole time they plotting on you to roll you up in a mat in the gym and leave you there for a week. Or to invite you over to their house to have a slumber party and you the only one that gets dead. And nobody knows what happened. Or you go for a job and just because you happen to see a house being built, you take a sip out of the water hose and the white boy down the street didn't like it. He gets to gun you down.
Allies, right?
They got some strange friends.
Right. Fair use.
I can tell you what's not helping when you're sitting in an audience and you're listening to a comedian on stage, you know, making fun at a people's pain, and you're laughing and you're cracking, you know, you just busting your guts laughing about it. Yeah, that's hurting. Those are not allies.
What if they don't want to waste their money?
But you can't tell me somebody like, oh, pretty good. But you know, you can't tell me that somebody that's laughing at that man's pain or those people's pain is an ally.
Have you watched the full video, sir?
I did.
So did you see at the end that, well, towards the end, that a couple of the guys from the table fist bumped me and they didn't want to leave, but they only had to leave because they were all riding together?
Yeah, that was pressure.
Oh.
Yeah, I felt like that was pressure. I saw him. I wouldn't have fist bumped you. I would have stayed on code.
Why was it pressure?
I wouldn't have fist bumped. You know,
so we can say that my George Floyd joke was pressure.
Here's the thing. Like everybody, just because somebody black, all skin folk ain't kin folk.
Who says that?
I said it.
Like people are calling me racist. How am I racist? I'm racist. Do you think I'm racist?
Well, you can't be racist.
Okay.
You know,
y'all hear that?
Please not in America. You can't be racist.
Okay, I just wanted to know.
Yeah. Hey, walk us through that particular set of circumstances that night, leading up to the punchline.
What part do you call the punchline? Because
the punchline was when the punchline.
I would have shot him.
I guess that was a couple, but the main punchline was when you said you would have shot him.
I had a heckler who happened to be black. Don't care what color or ethnic background he was.
Mm-hmm.
So remember, he's about to explain what led up to the joke. All right. Now remember what Gary Owens said, which is the same sentiment that he expressed about basically, you know, you can't tell a comedian how to write a joke. You know, I can't tell you how to shoot a jump shot. I can't tell you how to write a rap bar. Right? Same sentiment. But now we're getting down to see that this has nothing to do with what's written. This has nothing to do with none of that. Right? If you tell a joke or write a joke and put it in the public, we have a right to say we don't like that. You know, or go shove that up where you know you can shove it, right? However we want to respond. Right. And you have to deal with that just like we have to deal with what you put out. So now he's explaining what took place. Fair use.
And my job at that point is to shut you the fuck up so everybody else can enjoy the show.
Got it.
I'm a troll. I've been trolling on Instagram and Twitter throughout all of this. So if you take me serious, that's on you. I'm a comedian and I'm on the spectrum. I have Asperger's. I don't know limits. I say whatever. I don't filter myself. You can ask anybody in my life. I say the crazy, my whole life, I've been getting ass whoopings for saying whatever. So when I was on that stage, I said whatever because I'm in command. And if the boat is sinking, just like on the Titanic, I'm playing my motherfucking violin until that bitch sink. And I stand by that. And like I said, if I offended you on an individual level and you want to reach out to me, like you, I talk to you. I talk to Trey the Truth. I talk to a couple of other people, right? And like I said, if I offended y'all on an individual level, I do apologize. But I'm not apologizing for the joke. Because then where does it stop?
So, Dave, this sounds like to me a person who thinks that perhaps he could be wrong, but if I apologize, then I gotta apologize for something else. So I don't want to be on the hook for.
I don't feel like I'm wrong.
I don't want to be on the hook for an apology.
I don't feel like I'm wrong.
You don't feel like you're wrong.
No, sir.
So
why can people make O.J. Simpson killing a white woman joke?
I don't think that's cool.
But it's been done.
Yeah, it's been done. It's been done, and there have been people. That,
so where's there?
There have been people that have been offended by those jokes. There have been people that have walked out on those jokes.
Where's their cancel campaign?
You know, I've heard comedians in the past make O.J. Simpson jokes, right? But the joke was on a note of whether O.J. did it or didn't do it. You know, you have some who believe he did, some who believe he didn't do it, right?
He did it.
You think so?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think he did it. That fool came out with a book that said, if I did do it, I would have done it like this.
After the trial, right?
Yeah, he knew about double jeopardy, bro. That's why he was like, he waited until after and then said something. Yeah, he did that, man. But like you said, it was about whether or not he did it or not. Nobody defamed that girl. Nobody talked about the way that the brutal way in which they were murdered. Nobody talked about that. Nobody thinks that's funny, and nobody made a joke about that. What they did make a joke about was OJ being dumb. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's a big difference. He sat there and said, "Oh, I wouldn't have kneeled on him. I would have shot him." Bro, that is out of bounds. I don't care how he tries to say it. He's like, "Oh, I got Asperger's, and I just say whatever." Zion, be careful of a man who doesn't have control over his own emotions and or tongue.
He got some burgers, all right. Look like he got some burgers. He got some ass burgers.
Several of them.
Shoot, you must have ate a bunch of ass burgers to get them deals. For real.
Breath looks like it smell like ass burgers.
That's what you got to do to get to the top.
Man,
you got to have a bunch of ass burgers.
It don't make no sense what dude trying to sit here and do. And then, like, it was crazy is like one of the folks said in the chat, if it wasn't about color, then why'd you take it to George Floyd?
Right.
You could have said any joke to shut him up. Nah, you took it straight to George Floyd. So if it wasn't about color, then why would you make that joke to a black person?
Exactly.
Huh? In front of a room full of white people. I'm gonna start calling him. Nah, I ain't gonna call him David no more, because he's now Steven. He's been christened Steven from Django.
Look, Sons of Yah say she disagreed with the OJ thing. Look, because I heard a comedian say the same thing. So they joked about him writing that book because they was saying he did it. This particular comedian I'm talking about, he say, man, he did that shit, man. Because why would you write a book talking about how you, if you would have did it? Basically, I'm paraphrasing. So different people, you know, on different sides saying whether he did it or didn't, but nobody ever made fun of the brutality that was done. Right? It was just basically giving their opinions on the guilty verdict. Yep. But now,
and that's something black folks still today joke about amongst ourselves. Like, man, he did it. No, he didn't. Yes, he did. You know, it's something we argue about, but it ain't on the level of what happened with George Floyd.
Man. And he basically saying, if you take me serious, that's, you know, he's not a dude to be taken serious is what he's telling you. However, right, this is the same thing with all the paid agents. Everybody they paid off is letting you know, look, man, don't take me serious. All right. I'm just doing this for my shock value to get my money up. Right. And I'm willing to do whatever to get that up. Fair use. Let's get some more, because there's one point I want him to get to that deals with this notion of free speech. Fair use.
I don't think there's a cancel campaign.
There's definitely a cancel.
I'm not an advocate for that.
Of course, you made it like me. You did. What I'm saying,
I'm not an advocate for canceling David Lucas. I'm not an advocate for that.
I appreciate you.
Let me put that on.
No, sir. I don't think you are, but I had a couple of flim flam BLM leaders, and we all know BLM is a hoax joke. You know, I had a couple of them call my mother's house, and I had just happened to be there because I was coming from Miami, Florida. And that really upset me. Call me. I'll put my number on whatever, Twitter. Call me. Leave my mom out of it. My mom's old. I retired my mama 3 years ago. Right?
Yeah.
Comedy's doing well for me. And I will continue to support my family with that. And y'all are talking about cancel me when I have 2 black daughters and a black mother. And I take care of probably like 12 people. Right? But y'all talking about cancel me. So if you cancel me, what y'all want me to do? Sell drugs, rob and steal? And which one of those is doing more harm to our community? My George Floyd joke, or me out there robbing, stealing, and selling drugs and destroying more young minds?
Well, and that's
the jokes are still.
That's where we'll stop it. But let's break that down. All right. He started by saying that some leaders from Black Lives Matter called his mom's house. He just so happened to be there, right? And he said that upset him. So would you say that he's being sensitive?
I would.
That, right? And I would too. However, he has a right to be sensitive for them calling his mother. He has that right. Like anybody would, right? That's just going to be a natural reaction, regardless of what you do or what you did to lead to that. When it comes back onto you, you're going to be sensitive about it because that's your mother. She's old. You retired her and you're taking care of her. Right? But what about free speech? What about freedom of expression? Right? Why is it that now all of a sudden your mother is off limits? And I agree. I would never disrespect nobody's mother, me personally. Right? Yeah, he say he on the spectrum. He out there. He getting that white money. So,
but then he get that white money, but gonna ask black people, why y'all want to cancel me? Why you want to cancel me? Whoa. Understand something about the Israelite black community. We will not support you to stand up there and disrespect us in front of them. Not happening in no way, shape, and or form. We wouldn't let that go down in the street. You think we're gonna let you have a microphone in the stage and disrespect us under the guise of jokes? Where I'm from Florida. Where I'm from, jokes get your ass whooped. Because not everybody finds your jokes and your hee hee ha ha's funny, especially them old heads. Them old heads don't play that. Oh, you trying to be funny? Nah, they don't play that. That will get you dealt with expeditiously.
You say, from whence cometh wars and fightings among you, right? Talking about the power of this little tongue and what it causes. People done lost their life because they've said the wrong thing to somebody, right? I'm not saying this is the magnitude of this. However, that's an effect of saying something. What you say can affect things in a major way. And we learning that. I'm still learning that every day. That's why I don't talk a lot. It's the most I talk. Unless I'm me and my wife chopping it up, or some chopping it up with the brothers. I don't do a lot of talking. But he said Black Lives Matter. Called his mom and he got upset. He got offended. Right? That should help him understand the feeling of people who received what he said. Right? They contacted your mother because of you using your free speech. And he say, call me, contact me. Right? That's it doesn't always work like that. Somebody might want to call her and say, look, how did you raise this young dude? What did you teach him? You know, what did you teach him or what did you instill in him that would cause him to believe that he could say something like this about our people and not get a response for it? Right? Did you raise him up in the way so that he could keep it all the days of his life? Right? Then he said, if they counsel me, you know, what am I supposed to do? Get a sell drugs and rob and all that? How about get a job, nigga? How about work? See?
How about learning trade?
Yeah, how about
that was what he did? You see how he did that?
Yeah.
Like we can't do nothing but sell drugs and be gang members.
And did he do that to justify himself, or was he trying to put that on all of us? Like that's all we do. Sell drugs and rob. You know who the biggest dope dealers and robbers are? It ain't us.
Oh, Johnson & Johnson.
It ain't us. Trust me.
And I ain't even joking. I'm saying the largest drug dealers in the world would be Johnson & Johnson. They sell more pharmaceuticals than anybody else.
I didn't even know that, but I wouldn't doubt that there was other major corporations and businesses involved.
You know, like Pfizer, Moderna.
Why not? You know? But that was the question. If y'all counsel me, what am I supposed to do? Well, what are you gonna do if white people counsel you? You know, but he's booked, he's locked in. What are you gonna do if they counsel you? You gonna rob? You gonna sell drugs? You know, there's other ways to get money. legal ways to get money. You know,
we utilize these things, these avenues all the time. It ain't got nothing to do with no drugs, no being no gang member. You talking about literally maybe 10% of the population of Black people. The majority of us is hardworking folks, law abiding. We get our job done. We try to do what we need to do as people without being, you know what I'm saying, taken out by the police or some crazy ass racist that want to lynch us from a tree.
Exactly. Like, trust me. I mean, how is it that Black people are the number one consumers in this nation, and we making everybody else rich and wealthy if we just don't have nothing whatsoever? It's a lot of Black people who got money. Not necessarily rich, but what I'm saying is it's a lot of Black people who have money and means to be able to do what they need to do. And those who are rich and have money, they can do more, and that's what they do. Everything we do has to go outside of us. We're the number one consumer. We have more spending power than everybody else, yet we're at the bottom. Telling me ain't nothing systemic behind that? We're not using our heads. This Maccabees 1:11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. What did that dude say? When I went to the Black club, they gave me plenty problems. I had plenty problems in the Black club. The Black audience don't laugh at my comedy because it's so cerebral. And low key, he insulting your intelligence. He trying to say you're not smart enough to see the humor and what he's saying. And in essence, this is what he's saying right here in verse 11. I'm gonna go make a covenant with these white folks because I can't even get it with my own people. Since we ain't connected with them, I can't get on like that. Black people ain't laughing at my jokes. Right?
Yep.
Let me go get on with them. What's this here? Ephesians chapter 5, verse 1. Be ye therefore followers of Elohim as dear children, and walk in love, as Mashiach also had loved us and hath given himself for us an offering and a sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet smelling savor. Walk in love. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becometh saints. Right? All these scandals, these pastors and stuff getting caught up in, shouldn't even be getting named among that stuff. We shouldn't be hearing about no pastors or preachers at nobody's party at all. Right? It said neither filthiness nor foolish talking nor jesting. Filthiness, foolish talking, nor jesting. He's saying don't let this stuff be named among us, which are not convenient, but rather the giving of thanks. For this ye know that no whoremonger, nor unclean person, nor covetous man, right? Coveting out the white riches and money. That's what that is. He's trolling himself and demeaning his own self and his own people so that he could covet out our enemy's wealth. And that's what he basically telling you. Right? Who is an idolater hath an inheritance in the kingdom of Mashiach and of Elohim. Right? The foolish talking and the foolish jesting. Jesting is joking and being a jester. Right? We all know what jesters are, court jesters. Right? These people were appointed to bring humor to the king or to whoever was in charge. Right? That's what they had to do. And if they didn't, and if they weren't successful in that, what would happen to the jester? If they weren't successful in amusing the king and his crowd, what would happen to him?
Off with his head.
Right? Now we understand why Willie D was saying what he was saying. At any time, these people can decide you're not funny no more. They can decide that. Right? Dave Chappelle, after he did them seasons of the Chappelle show, we was all laughing at Chappelle. Right? We all laughed at it. We was amused by it. We went out and bought it. But guess what them white folks decided? They said, we are deciding that you're not funny anymore. Regardless of what people say. We're going to put an image out there about you, and that's what's going to be believed. Right? Where we at now? Titus chapter 3. It says, speak evil of no man. I'm going to start at 1. Put them in mind to be subject to principalities and powers, to obey magistrates, to be ready for every good work, to speak evil of no man, to be no brawlers, but gentle, showing all meekness unto all men. For we ourselves also were sometimes foolish, disobedient, deceived, serving divers lusts, pleasures, living in malice and envy, hateful, and hating one another, right? So we shouldn't speak evil of one another, right? If you're in a profession where you have a platform and you have eyes and ears listening, then you should be mindful of the things that you say, right? Because you're not just representing yourself. Regardless of how you feel or how you want to put your ideology together to do whatever you need to do, you're not representing yourself. You're representing your family, you're representing your household, and you're representing your people at large. Because somebody's going to listen to what you're saying, and they're going to equate that to the whole, to the wholeness, or to the fullness. This says, Sirach, what chapter is this? 22 and 11. Weep, it says, weep for the dead, for he had lost his light, and weep not for the fool, for he wanted understanding. Make little weeping for the dead, for he is at rest, but the life of the fool is worse than death. 7 days do men mourn for him that is dead, but for a fool and an ungodly man all the days of his life. So in other words, George Floyd is dead now. And if we look at things in the light of scripture and prophecy, the Most High said he would have mercy on his chosen. He even talked about bringing those back who are asleep and having mercy on them. So we have a lot to look forward to. Things that our eyes haven't seen and our ears haven't heard. And you have people unwittingly, yet wittingly speaking against it, speaking foolishly against it. Mashiach forgave a man that was being crucified with him for believing in him, believing on who he was. And what did Mashiach grant him at that moment?
Everlasting life.
Everlasting life and access into paradise. He said, I'm telling you today, you're going to be with me in paradise. Just for that. You know, we don't know. We heard George Floyd crying for his mother, but we don't know what he was praying internally. We don't know the kind of mercy that the Most High is going to have on this man. We don't know what kind of crown, what kind of glory he going to have. And now he's resting. So why are we speaking and joking about his situation and letting it pass and calling those sensitive who speak out against it foolish? You say you a dead man, you mourn for him, and that pass on, but a foolish man, ungodly man, all the days of his life. You gotta mourn for them. Sirach, this is 38:16. My son, let tears fall down over the dead, and began to lament as if thou hadst suffered great harm thyself. Right? Lament as if you suffered yourself. He told that man, he said the same thing that happened to him could happen to you. It could happen to me. More before it happened to any one of them white people in the audience. Right? You want to talk about...
Didn't you say that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about... You want to ask, well, how do you feel about the white people who protested the George Floyd situation? Right? How many white people got up and left that night when you said that?
Huh.
How many white people reached out or said anything to you in that moment? Because that was a protest, right? You seen all them black people get up and leave? That was a protest. That was a movement. How many white people left? He says, weep bitterly and make great moan and use lamentation as he is worthy. And that a day or two, lest thou be evil spoken of, and then comfort thyself from thy heaviness. So have respect for the dead, right? The scripture even tell us not to even rejoice over our worst enemy. The time for that is coming. The time of rejoicing is coming. But even in the times of recompense, that's a time for us to consider ourselves. It's a dreadful thing, man, when the Most High do something on your behalf to somebody. That's dreadful. You know, people don't really think about the fullness of that. You can be thinking about somebody and you think, man, Lord, just help me deal with this person or help me get out of this situation. And the Most High might see fit to take that person out. And you just thinking, Lord, I just, and then that happened. That's a dreadful thing. Because what exempts you from that? If you get out of line, if you start to offend somebody who's close to the Most High, what make you exempt from that? For speaking down on the Most High's people, or for making light of a situation that is not to be made light of, what make you exempt from that? Right? This is verse 22. Remember my judgment, for thine also shall be so. Yesterday for me, and today for thee. When the dead is at rest, let his remembrance rest, and be comforted for him when his spirit is departed from him. Right? If that man lives such a hard life and the Most High was to have mercy on him, right, then we should feel comfort knowing that he's released from the pressures of his life. He no longer has to suffer. He no longer has to go another day seeking an escape because of whatever pain he went through, and nobody ever took the time to really help the man or understand the man. Right? Unfortunate. But my prayer and hope is that the Most High have mercy on him and that the Most High is watching over his children, because he had children. Nobody asked how they responded to what was said or if they heard it. Maybe they being protected from it. But you can't put your situation, your mother, your daughters and all this on a pedestal. Oh, comedy is doing well for me and I'm taking care of people. Right?
Mm-hmm. over there sitting there acting like the Most High is a respecter of person. Most High don't care if it's a man, woman, or child. He don't care if it's old. When the Most High will moves, the Most High will moves.
Indeed. Straight up and down. But I'm gonna go ahead and conclude this, man, because I got a day ahead of me. I gotta get out of here and go get it done, man. So,
and this was a pleasure. I appreciate you having me on.
Indeed, bro. It's always a blessing to have you on, man. I love your insight. You know, you're a good brother, man, in the Most High. I respect what y'all do. You know, whatever wrinkles or whatever is in between, the Most High work it out, man. But I want to give him thanks. Nonetheless, all praise to the Most High for all things. And I want to thank you, brothers and sisters, for your time. Remember, due to me making this change, a lot has happened with the algorithm. So y'all help out with hitting the like button, subscribe button, and the notification bell. That's the most important thing. Hit the notification bell once you subscribe. That way you'll be alerted when we go live or drop a video. The beginners channel will still be going on. I'm going to start that up on my other channel, so be on the lookout for that as well. Subscribe to Resurrecting the Truth, Brother Kadar's channel if you haven't already. Negro Onlys, subscribe to that, as well as the Sword and the Spear, the reading channel. I highly recommend these reading channels too for brothers and sisters, because that's important that we read on our own. That way, when we sit up under teaching and leadership, we won't have to fully yield and subject ourselves to people, right? Because we'll all be well learned enough to come together and understand it. So I highly recommend that. I highly recommend trueebree.com. You know, go check that out. trueebree.com, TRUEBREE.com. What else am I missing? The 400-year prophecy work is still going on. Part 1 is up on this channel and Resurrecting the Truth. Part 2 will be dropping soon, Most High willing. So y'all look out for that. Support that, like and share, and all that good stuff. Share that information with people who may not know or understand the truth of what's going on, especially our people. Just raise some awareness about what's going on around the world and what we have to look forward to as a people. And so that'll be up on both channels. You got anything, bro, to close out with?
If you guys get a chance, check out Sister Dass's channel. You know, she put together a little program that I think she's getting ready to premiere. I don't know, probably in a couple of days or in a week or so. But she's put together an animated series or whatever that covers some of the highlights in the Bible. So if you guys want to go over there and check her out and give her some love and show some support, that'd be awesome. Negroes Only, of course, we always out there doing things. We always on other people's channels. We also be teaching on that channel as well. So, you know, we're one big community. It's, you know, we just got a lot of different little pieces, but we were just one massive community, and we love each other. This is what it's supposed to be about.
Indeed. And so on that note, we're going to go ahead and shut it down. All praise to the Most High. This is the first official fellowship under this new platform title. Oh, they want to know that channel again you just mentioned, Yanakota. If you can put it in the link. If you can put it in the chat.
Yeah, I'll drop a link in the chat. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so first official fellowship under this new channel title, and I want to thank y'all for being a part of it. All praises to the great Elohim of Israel. Shalom and blessings to all my brothers and sisters. Until we meet again, May the Most High be with us, protect us, guide us, keep us safe. Shalom and blessings.